Happy positive Friday. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as the Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook pages. You can also get us on X and the Sports 1440 IG. Connor Halley with you here. Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson as well. Wanye Gretz will be arriving shortly. The show is brought to you by playalberta.ca. Of course, you can mention code word SUMMER and get a $50 free casino play with a minimum $5 deposit. And tonight, Lotto Max. Big money up for grabs. Go grab your ticket. Check out playalberta.ca. Make sure you use your game. Since we are coming to you live from the eWell studios here in West Edmonton Mall, where the real power plays is shop eWell. Go to ewell.ca for all your electrical needs 24/7. Ewell.ca is your partner in power. Lots to get to on the show today, as it is a loaded lineup for sure. And 2:20, we are going to go around the NHL. And I think we're just going to touch on a few different topics. I'll throw it out there to the crew here. We'll debate and discuss. At 2:40, Lorian Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, will be by. I want to ask her, the Olympic athletes, obviously they train, the games only come once every 4 years. The week after, what do you do? I know you have other events and, tournaments, meets, whatever it might be around the calendar year, but the Olympic Games for the track athletes, it's the Mecca. So what does it change? How does your preparation change? Is there a little time off? We'll talk to Lorian Muenzer about that. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning at 3 o'clock. I think he's going to talk a little bit about the Edmonton Elks. We're going to hear from Jason Smith of Fox Sports Radio. You can actually hear him on Sports 1440 Monday through Friday from 9 until midnight. We'll talk some NFL, some Major League Baseball, and a little bit more. Maybe some Carolina Hurricanes. That's his team. Former Whalers fan, I do believe. At 4:20, we'll be joined by Ed Hervey, former member of the Green and Gold, current GM of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Want to get his thoughts on his team, their game against the Elks tomorrow evening. Also, maybe a little bit about the Elks ownership and his thoughts on it from afar. How is it good for his old team and, the league as a whole? If you are looking for someone to go watch the game tomorrow night, Elks watch parties down at Castlewood Pub. If you want to come hang out with me, win some prizes, have a good time, watch the game, we'll be there. Kickoff set for 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock today, though, Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and we'll also have Alan Mitchell, the host of the Lowdown Fotide, joining us at 5:20 to, we'll talk a little Elks, we'll talk some Oilers, we'll talk a whole lot of things. I think I do have to ask him about the Philadelphia Eagles because I was on with him on Monday on his show, and he asked about the Chargers. So we'll balance it out. Of course, we love the text, 1-833-401-1440. Appreciate everyone who does send in a text message. We try to get back to, or at least acknowledge as many as we can here on the show. Should note a few things, and I'm sure you've heard it in your Sports 1440 updates throughout the day, but Trey Ford not going to play, not listed on the depth chart as the Elks head to Hamilton to take on the Tiger Cats. McLeod Bethel-Thompson will get the start. Dakota Prukop listed as the backup, and you got Daggy as the third stringer. Also, Javon Leake gets the start at running back. You'll have Justin Rankin on the show, and behind him, he was on our show earlier on this week. No Kevin Brown, so the Edmonton Elks, a few injuries going out to this one. But you got Tevin Jones, Gino Lewis, Dylan Mitchell, Curly Gittins, the receiver Cord Mayala, making tons of plays for this team. It's going to be very interesting on the defensive side of the ball. Looks like things, for the most part, staying pretty much the same. The secondary slowly starting to come together here. Some struggles early on in the season. We saw, deep passes, broken plays, teams attacking the seams, and it seems like the defense, secondary-wise, is starting to figure things out just a little bit more as we go here. Of course, we got Declan Kruger here with me, and Declan joins us. He's always a part of the show, but when I slide over here, he gets to take my other job and hop on just a little bit more here. Declan, how are you doing today, and how is the Lowdown Flow Tie treating you?
Connor, I'm doing pretty well. I mentioned to you just before the show that haven't eaten today, didn't bring a lunch, so a bit of a soldier. I'm fighting on, though. I'm not complaining about it. Don't worry. But no, I'm doing well. Lowdown was good today. We touched on a variety of subjects, a little CFL, a little NHL, of course. Even talked a little Premier League. Gets going today. We'll hear about that in 5 questions. So I'm doing pretty well. Friday, spirits are high. You know what that means? I get home. NCAA 25 is waiting for me. Big game against Sam Houston for the Kennesaw State Owls tonight. Very excited about that. And spirits are high. Soccer game tomorrow. Rescheduled game because of the smoke. So big weekend for the Dexter. And UFC 305. My favorite fighter's fighting. So pretty happy.
You know what? And we'll get to the text in a second here, but I do want to bring up UFC in Edmonton. That was announced a couple days ago. Was it Thursday morning? Wednesday morning? And there were some questions about the card, Declan, and we put it up on our social media pages, and I saw people like saying, "Oh, Canada always gets this. They get the junk cards or whatever it might be." I will say that of all the people I know, you are the most well informed on the UFC and mixed martial arts and combat sports and a bunch of other things, geolocator, chess, all that. But when it comes to this card in Edmonton, I don't know if you have a chance to take a look at it yet, but what are your primary thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, thank you very kindly for all that. That was very nice. Yeah, I think the sentiment rings true. And I've talked about this a little bit on the lowdown before. Canada cards, it's kind of like, here's your slop. You get what you get. You enjoy it and you don't complain. And no disrespect to, the fighters who are going to be headlining this card, Aaron Blanchfield, Rose Namajunas, 2 top 5 flyweights in the women's division, Rose Namajunas, former strawweight champion. But the blunt truth of it is we're not getting Alex Pereira. We're not getting John Jones. We're not getting anything like that. We saw the last pay-per-view that was in Canada, UFC 289. It was headlined by Amanda Nunes, and Amanda Nunes is probably the best female fighter ever, but it's a little bit like hey, this is what we're going to give you and you're going to take it because you never get any UFCs. That's what we find here in Edmonton. It is a fight night. It's not a pay-per-view card. Derek Lewis is going to be the co-main event. Very exciting fighter, most knockouts in UFC history, but probably pretty well past it. Fan favorite for sure. But it's just not the name value you may want or may expect. And even some of the past pay-per-views we've had here in Edmonton. We had UFC 215 back in September of 2017, I believe it was. That one was headlined by Amanda Nunes. We had UFC 240 here in July 2019. That was headlined by Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar. But outside of that, a pretty weak card. It generally happens when those pay-per-view cards come to Canada. The UFC says, hey, listen, we're doing you a favor coming here, so you're going to get the fights we give you, and you're not going to complain. And we just kind of have to take it on the chin and eat it. So yeah, I would say a weaker card, all things considered. But it's always nice to see a live event. It's always very cool to see these athletes compete. I will certainly be there. No question about that. But as far as what you said, as far as all the comments that have been made, a weaker card certainly in comparison than what we may want.
Hey, you know what they say, beggars cannot be choosers. Certainly just to get it in town is very cool. We got the world-class arena down at Rogers Place, so I'll be looking forward to that one as well. We'll make sure we have some coverage here on Sports 1440 as the event nears. Cat Dad sent me a picture. He said, hey, Connor, I was sent this by my sister in Las Vegas. I clicked the picture. It's Mountain Dew Baja Blast Hard. It is a 5% alcohol. Looks like you get like a 6-pack for $18, maybe more. Well, I know Donovan Paulson and myself, we're actually sipping on Baja Blast Not Hard, just the regular ones. We like to blast off on Fridays, so we went down to the dollar store and grabbed a couple. That is very cool. One of my favorite things about going down to the is the different products that they have. It's been a while, and I feel like with, Yeg Exotic and those types of places, we're getting better at bringing up the American products, but there's still some things we just can't get a hold of. So
40 update.
I think that's awesome. Maybe that'll come up here. Vanilla Coke is one. Whenever I'm in one of those specialty shops, I like to grab other American things. I don't know. Let me know. 1-833-401-1440. What are some stops you make when you head south in terms of junk food? I know a popular fried chicken place is now in our fine city. If you're in West Edmonton and you've gone through the mall, you've seen the lineup. Chick-fil-A. Holy cow. We thought about sending Donovan or Declan down there because Declan, like he said, he hasn't eaten today. You might have to go down there and wait in line. But Declan, in that case, you might not get fed till 6:30. So that's true. A little bit too long. Is there, because you were down in Texas for a Mavs game a little while ago, is there something down there in terms of snacks that you have to get when you head to the States?
Well, first of all, let me correct you. I was down there for a Heat game. The Mavs just happened to be playing.
My bad.
No, I love American food. American snacks are incredible. And like the crazy thing is as you were talking about it just now, I couldn't really pinpoint one. It's just better. Like they just have better, I don't know. They have cool little like Ritz peanut things, and they have better chocolate selections in their drinks. Like Pepsi Lime is Diet Pepsi Lime is one of my favorites. I always make it a point to get that. And I feel like I'm such a failure right now. I'm drawing such a blank on actual, and it adds no validity to my argument, but the snacks in America are so much better. It's not even comparable. The gas station snacks, like you get little Butterfinger bites, you get like chip flavors you've never heard of here. It's the drinks, the soft, forget about it. Don't even get me started on the Zyn pouches. I could go all day. Like it's just so much better in terms of selection there. I feel bad that I can't name a single one because it makes me look like a complete idiot, but it's way better down there for sure.
Moon pies. We got a text coming in here. Boiled peanuts in Texas. Maybe you avoided those when you're down there. Matana de Rice says their beer sucks, though. Oh, it is not quite as strong, I suppose, in some cases. But I think, with all the craft breweries they're popping up now, there's got to be some good ones. He also asks you, is your favorite fighter Adesanya, Declan?
My favorite fighter is Israel Adesanya. I've seen him fight live once in Vegas when he fought Yoel Romero, which was like his worst fight ever. The one other thing I'm going to add about Texas really quickly and just foods is they're not lying about the portion sizes.
Yeah.
Everything is bigger in Texas. Like you order, it is the craziest thing. Like drinks. Like I remember I was there with my girlfriend and she ordered a margarita. The bowl holding the margarita was quite literally as big as her head. Like I have a picture of it, not an exaggeration. The food portions, like you could eat it for 5 days, I swear. Like the food portions in Texas, my good, they just pile barbecue on your plate, and you see why some of the the BMI rates are a little higher down there because those food portions are crazy.
Check. So we were in Vegas once back at the old ESPN zone, I think they called it. It was like a sports bar in New York, no longer around. 3 of us went and got a platter. The server says, yeah, that should be enough for you guys. Like it was absolutely massive. We ended up passing it off to another table when we were done because it was so crazy. Yeah, the portion size there, amazing. Kat had said mine is whatchamacallit chocolate bar, and that is the real name. Whatchamacallit chocolate bar. Yeah, I like the varieties, the specialty things that they have down there in the States. They're working their way up here, but not quite there yet. 1-833-401-1440. That is the text line. We had a text come in here from Tyler the Clone. Tyler, thanks for the message. Boys, it's because it's a fight night card and not a PPV. Those cards are hit or miss. Mike Mallet, who's an up-and-coming Canadian, will probably be on there. I don't mind it, as it's only a fight night and it's super competitive to get any UFC events these days. And with big players like Saudi getting pay-per-view fight nights and PPVs nowadays. Tyler the Clone. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? If you're a fan of the mixed martial arts and the UFC specifically, then we're probably going to be going out to that one, having a good time and enjoying it. I think it's a good time, and maybe it leads to something a little bit more. Krager says Donut Mill in Red Deer. Well, we're talking about United States snacks. Red Deer, yeah, Donut Mill, I don't know. I think it's changed. I think it used to be better. I think they got too popular, and they had to kind of like mass produce their donuts. No facts behind that. It's still very good, and I stop there every time I go to BC in the summer. But maybe it's just a nostalgia kicking in for me, preferring some of the younger things or the things I enjoyed a little bit more when I was younger. As I mentioned today on this show, lots to get to. We're going to be joined by Low Tide at 5:20, Mark Spector. Also, we'll hear from the general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That is Ed Hervey, former member of the Green and Gold. Also played his college football at USC. So we might have to check in and see what he's thinking about the USC Trojans heading into the season. Minnesota Vikings, they've now placed quarterback J.J. McCarthy on the injured reserve. They've signed former Panthers quarterback Matt Corral. So Minnesota Vikings needing some depth behind Sam Darnold. Hopefully he can stay healthy and will be good to go. Scalding Gord setting this one in. Question: other than Mad Dog Jackie Ray, who in your organization would win a UFC style fight? Well, Declan Kruger's the only one who's trained in any sort of combat sports, as far as I'm aware. Brandon, his knee's messed up, so you'd probably target that, Declan. I'm not going to be much of a competitor. I once got slapped, Calgary Stampede, and that's about as far as I go. I can't handle that, so I would be quick out. Donovan's, he's wiry, he's young, he might have a chance. Gregor, Low Tide, KK, I'm not sure. I think we probably have to hand this one to Declan. Now, if we extended it to Eddie Steele, Sean Brown, Strutty, those types of guys, Declan, I mean, you're out of their weight class, but I think they might be able to handle you. But other than that, I think you'd be the one.
Well, I do appreciate that sentiment. I will say I would be the first to lose because I won't be fighting my friends. I'll tap out early and let any other mean streaks between anyone else come to light.
You'll take the fall.
I'll take the fall for the squad.
Trent says, just on the topic of American snacks, not snacks, but we need Texas Roadhouse and Chipotle here. See, I've never had Chipotle. I've heard really good things about it, but I've never had it.
I've heard from friends who have been in the States or traveled the States semi-regularly that a couple of years ago, very, very good. Last few years, it's become very, very mid.
Really?
Basically, it's the exact equivalent to Mucho Burrito these days is what I hear.
which is still fine.
Which isn't bad, I guess. But Chipotle does kind of have these expectations that come with it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, the influencers really hyped it up back in the day. Never really got into it myself. I guess I hadn't really been in a place that had one. I've seen it in airports, I think. And I don't know, airport food to me is hit and miss. I don't want to try it there. So I probably try to avoid it. Spaghetti said, and that's why they're riddled with obesity and diabetes. LOL, good God. Yeah, big portion size down there. That's the key, though, when you're down there. You just indulge for a little bit, and then you get out of there. Whataburger in Texas is awesome. No name on that one. Please send your name in there. I know that from King of the Hill. They go to Whataburger down there. I've heard good things about it. Never had it. Terry says Famous Dave's is pretty good. North Edmonton. I haven't even heard of Famous Dave's. Declan, do you know Famous Dave's?
I don't know Famous Dave's, but I did have Whataburger when I was in Texas, and it rocked. Definitely give the Whataburger the 2 Declan thumbs up.
Famous Dave's is barbecue. Okay, it does look very good. Yeah, that looks like really good. I always wanted to go to Zaxby's. They always had the commercials, and they show like the food always looked really good.
You know what commercial always got me, and I have had it, but the Sonic commercials.
Yeah.
You ever had Sonic?
No, America's Driving?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but yeah, Sonic was always those 2 guys, right? And like they always had those really good commercials. So yeah, Zaxby's is another good show. Man, I could talk about American food for 4 hours, I swear.
Attica did say In-N-Out. In-N-Out's great. I've been there. I mean, I don't like to hype it up too much. It's a good, quick, cheap meal. Yeah, I've gotten in Vegas a few times. It's always packed when you go to In-N-Out in Vegas, but a good spot. Terry says there is one Famous Dave's in Winnipeg, and that's it for Canada. Another reason to go to Winnipeg. You can go see Famous Dave's. Brian Swain of the Basketball Show texts me. Cherry Vanilla Coke. Yes, Cherry Vanilla Coke is fantastic. Daryl says Grimaldi's Pizzeria in Scottsdale. Wow. Rockford says Raising Cane's. I heard good things about that. Bert says Chipotle is going up on Calgary Trail. Okay, so we can actually go try Chipotle. Hopefully it's like not a watered down Canadian version, but that'll be good. Montana DeRice says, do you guys try that Chick-fil-A yet? MTR, no way. The line is absolutely massive. We walked past it a couple times. Like there's a lineup through the food court, and then there's a gap, and then there's another lineup across from it. So we'll try to get there, but maybe once school picks up again and the youngins head back. Justin also confirming Chipotle is here. Gateway just north of the White Mud. Patty and Spruce says we need Jersey Mike's up here. Yeah, I've seen those sandwiches. They do look pretty good. And Brandon follows up with Whataburger in Texas. It is great. We'll keep those texts coming. We can jump in on those throughout the entirety of this show. What is something the United States has when it comes to food and drink that we need in Canada or you enjoy when you go up down there? There is a lot of stuff. And Propane P also saying rumors, Chipotle opening up a couple locations in Edmonton, not just the one off the White Mud. Montana DeRay says, yeah, it's just like when they opened Peter's Drive-In and the hours were crazy long, or the line was crazy long. Yeah, exactly. It's a little ridiculous, but it looks good. I've seen people walk by with the cups. They always have a smile on their face, so I'm thinking they had a pretty good time. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll do around the NHL. We've also got Lorian Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, here in studio. We'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. We'll talk to Ed Hervey, general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who take on the Edmonton Elks tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Also, Mark Spector and Alan Mitchell. Keep those texts rolling in here, 1-833-401-1440 to the eWell inbox. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you here. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Every Friday after 4 p.m., it's 9 and Dine Fridays. Includes golf for 2 with a power cart at Cattail Crossing and a $50 food voucher at Out of Bounds Restaurant. Only $119.99. Tea times can be booked at cattailcrossing.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries.
Every generation before you has also been the most progressive generation.
And Jimmy Carr.
I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm not that small. I'm just far away.
One night, two comedy icons. September 8th, Rogers Place. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.ca. The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries and Jimmy Carr. Produced by Outback Presents.
Hey, Ledoux, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Honk your horn for Papa John's newest deal. It's one big deal for one big pizza. An extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's original fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stretched thinner to make 8 extra large slices with your favorite mouth-watering toppings. So hold and fold that slice like a New Yorker. Bigger is better when it comes to pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get some extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99 at Papa John's.
Rule number 62, never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy for comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Midnight tonight is the VIP prize deadline in the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery. Take charge of the open road with the Porsche Cayman VIP prize or choose $100,000 cash. Plus, be in to win the $2.5 million grand prize, Oilers season seats bonus prize, and so much more. Hurry, VIP deadline is midnight tonight. Be mighty and support Stollery Kids. Buy now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
They say at any given moment, only 7% of people are looking for a car, and that 7% notices advertising for cars. Everyone else, 93%, doesn't even hear it. So this ad is just for the 93% who aren't going to really notice any car ads right now anyway. Hey, it's Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge, and I hope you, yes you, the person listening right now, I hope you have a great day. Anyway, that's it. I'm done.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you here. As it is the Positive Friday edition of the show. Lots to get to. Of course, we'll talk some hockey, some NFL, some CFL, and a whole lot more here on the show. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Head over now. Lotto Max tonight. You've got a lot you can look forward to in terms of sports betting. Just remember, use your game sense. GameSense.ca. Right now, we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches, taking your team or group to their next destination. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. We bring in Olympic gold medalist and regular Friday guest here on the show, Lorian Muenzer, into the studio. Lorian, how are you doing?
Hey, doing awesome. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Glad to have you come in today. So we were talking before we got on here, and for Olympic athletes, I mean, the last 2 weeks, that was the peak, right? Like that's where everyone's turning their attention to. The casual fans like myself really get into these sports, and people become household names, and you really start to I mean, as an athlete, like that's kind of the plateau, I would think. What do athletes do that participate in the Olympics every 4 years? Like, we're not talking Steph Curry, LeBron James, who go back and still have to do their 82 game schedule, but the ones who go to these meets and events. What do the next couple of weeks look like for them? Is it right back into training? Do you take a break? And then how does that change, especially when it's someone like you who's won a gold medalist?
Oh, that's a great question. So first off, you need to allow the body to take a break. So it's literally, if you didn't win an Olympic gold medal, it's take a break time, go on holidays, go do all the other sports and stuff that you didn't have a chance to do as you were making your way up the mountain towards the Olympics. And literally, it's to give the mind and the body a break, but it's also to do a reset. And it's a time that you take off away from your sport so that you can think about and do a review of what worked, what went really well, what would I change? And then, of course, the big question, what's the next goal? Because the one thing that you always need to do, even if you're not an athlete, you might be corporate, you may be family, or you want to do some health stuff, maybe you want to do some finances, is as soon as you achieve your goal, or there's that date where, okay, yeah, you've accomplished it, it's time to set another goal. And I tell all my athletes and all my corporate athletes that I work with, you've got 24 hours to figure out what your next goal is. And a goal is something that you're going after that you have no idea how you're going to do it. But the other part that we do is we break it down into smaller chunks, because if it's so big, it's going to blow your head right off your body. And like, there's no way it's going to happen. But when you start breaking it into different milestones and smaller chunks, it's like, oh, that's actually possible. And then you start building the plan towards and as far as you can see. And that is what makes the impossible possible. And it can come out from the ether, because you get these ideas, they come out of nowhere, or you hear Declan say something, right? Or Jason say something. And it's just like, oh, that's an idea of something I wanted to do. And it just plunk right into your lap. And then you go, now I got to do something with it. Because if you don't do anything with it, nothing happens. On the flip side, if you do win an Olympic gold medal, I would recommend taking a couple of days off, 3 days, 5 days, do like what Summer did. She actually went back home to Toronto.
Yeah.
And then she had to fly back for closing ceremonies because she was flag bearer along with Ethan, Mr. Hammer Thrower there. So the thing is, you need to think about, what is your plan going forward? And, if you are like Summer McIntosh or any of the Olympians who did medal, think about what it is that you want to do, because you will get calls, you will get requests, you will get requests for speaking engagements or appearances, or come out to this club or come out to this seniors club. Like, the requests are crazy and they are so much fun. And you want to say yes to it, but you also have to go, okay, when does my season start? Do I have to start preparing in a month, or does the season start in 4 months or 5 months? What can I do? Most importantly, what is it that I want to do, and how does it align with everything that's going on around? Because if you start doing what everybody else wants, you're gonna burn out, and it's just, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be on the Olympic treadmill, and it's just, there's going to be no time left.
I can imagine it'd be a little bit tougher for someone like Summer McIntosh as well, being as young as she is, where all these requests are going to come. You're going to want to try to, you want to grow your brand, right? Like, let's face it, take advantage of this opportunity, and you just hope that there's not that burnout. And she has good people around her to make sure she doesn't have that happen. So you won a gold medalist at the gold medal at the Olympic Games. What was it like for you? Like, what was your experience the months after the fact, where, everybody knows you?
Oh my goodness, it was crazy. It was magical. It was chaotic, and it was go here, go there. The crazy part, because we were talking a little bit off air just before we hopped on, the cycling season would typically start in February. So February, March, April, May, and then the end of May would be World Championships. And then you would go on from there. The problem that year with the Olympics is the federation moved the whole season 4 months earlier. So there was no break. And it was like, oh my God, what do? You have maybe 2 weeks off, but that's not enough for the whole body to go, hey, okay, I'm ready to come back and let's start thinking about it. Let's start planning it. So I literally got off the plane. I was put in a hotel for 2 days. Somebody flew my sister and my 2 nephews in. It was absolutely chaos. I had security around me. There were so many requests. I was speaking here. I was speaking there. I remember I was down with ATB because they had a Lance Armstrong theme. There was a cycling theme, and they were like, hey, Lorian, can you come down to Canmore? So I got flown down to Calgary, picked up, and just like all kinds of stuff. It was actually crazy because sometimes I couldn't leave the building. And what happened was I would end up going out the back door just to go to my next appearance or go to my next event. And it was amazing. It was but it was crazy. And I tell you, if I could do it over again, I would take those 3 or 5 days and go, okay, let's think about this. How do we want to plan it out? Because, talking about Summer McIntosh, her parents know what this is about. And obviously they're thinking it through, setting her up. What do we want to do? How do you want to do it? She's also 17, turning 18, I think in 2 days. On Sunday is her birthday. So how can you still be a kid, but still be a phenomenal athlete and still get out there, still inspire like hundreds and thousands of Canadians and worldwide, right? It's what were you doing when you were 17? I know I wasn't riding my bike like I did before, but it's like there's opportunities and we need to think about those opportunities. And if you have a moment to think about it before you go out and do it, usually it ends up really, really good.
Lorian Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. So what was your coolest moment after the Olympics?
Oh my gosh. I don't think there was one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was one. Oh my gosh. I think it would be all the times and all the people and all the places that I had gone to that I was asked to come out to, was meeting and talking to the staff who set up the event that I was a part of, but then also going out and meeting the people in the audience.
Yeah.
Just hearing their stories, where they were, what they were doing. I remember hearing there were people down in Toronto, because that's where I grew up, but here's been home for 25 years. And just people telling me they were down by the Eaton Center, and the Eaton Center was really cool, but across the street, they had leveled it and they had a huge Jumbotron. And one of the guys that I talked to, he said, it was crazy. We were all waiting. And I'm like, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it right now, because I know it's harder, I think, as a spectator watching than it is as the athlete competing. And he said, yeah, we were just waiting and we're just like holding our breath and just watching and waiting as you cross the finish line.
Yeah.
And then it's just people remember where they were, or sometimes the little kids will come up and go, I remember watching you in our living room. And it's those moments that are those are the priceless moments.
Now, after the Olympic Games, you said 5 months off, give or take, till cycling season began again?
It would be approximately 5 months before the start of the new cycling season.
So that first event, I mean, I would assume, and this is probably what separates elite athletes like you from people like me, I'd be like, oh, I don't know if it's going to match the excitement of the Olympic Games. I assume the competition drags you right back into it. Like, there's not much of a lull. You're ready to go. You're fired up to get right back into it. And especially for you, I got to defend the title now.
Oh yeah.
And how much does that change the mindset?
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely crazy, because now you're the target, right? You're not going in as the underdog or as, oh yeah, well, Lorian's here. You're the target, and it's like, oh man, you better have your head screwed on right going in. And it's like, then the question is your physical prowess lining up with the mental prowess? Because your head will always go, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But then it's bringing the physical prowess up to match it so that you're on the same frequency or the vibration. And if they're not connected, if there's a gap, oh, Houston, we got a problem. And I tell you, I had a problem because I was being pulled in so many different ways. Because remember too, I also worked full time.
Yeah.
I was working full time. I wasn't after the Olympics. I took a hiatus for a while because just of all the requests and then of training as well. But yeah, it was a big challenge. And getting into that mindset was a whole nother set and a whole other level of, okay, what do I need to do so that, yeah, I'm prepared. I've got some really good finishes. Maybe it's podium finishes or top 5. But going from there, yeah, it was hard.
Lorian, we are a week and a day to the 20th anniversary, right, of your gold medal victory. And you've got some cool news. Your book that you released, it was unavailable for a while, but it's coming back on the 20th anniversary of the gold medal.
Yes, it is. So in 2006, Carl Wilberg wrote my story, and phenomenal journey. I was also doing that at the same time as coming off an Olympic win, preparing for the following season. And the publisher ended up going bankrupt. I think it was about 2008, 2009. And then books were out of print. We did a first edition, 5,000 Canadian bestseller, out of print. They did a second run, that went out of print. And I still keep receiving requests. Where can I get a copy of your book? I can't find it on Amazon, or, where can I go to get a copy? So about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, the conversation came up, and it was like, well, why don't we self-publish? Why don't we get it printed? And that's what I've been working on the past month and a half, like focused, dialed in. And we're almost there. So next week.
Now you're going to be doing a signing.
I will be doing a signing.
Audrey's
bookstore here. So actually one of the cool things is I did a 10-city across Canada book tour when we launched my book. And one of the bookstores that we actually were at was Audrey's bookstore here in Edmonton, Alberta. So I actually ran into Kelly at Audrey's and I said, hey, I've got my book coming out. Could we do something? She's like, yeah, come on down. So we've got the date set of Saturday, September 14th.
Okay.
I believe it'll be 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it's more 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to do a little speaking presentation, and then I'm going to be doing a book signing. So you'll also be able to get the books at Audrey's once it gets released officially. And I'm going to invite everybody down. We'll have some news about that when that's coming out as well.
So you and Alan Mitchell will have 2 authors in the Sports 1440 group.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, looking forward to it, Lorian. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more as it approaches, but thanks for coming in today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That is Lorian Muenzer, Olympic gold medalist, joining us today here on the Jason Gregor Show. Our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. As we were talking, a few more texts trickling in here about places you'd like to see brought up to Canada. TGI Fridays, just so I can dress as a gorilla and ask if Kevin James was there. That comes in from Scalding Gourd. Gourd Oil, different person, says a place in Texas called, I want to say it's either Kalaki or Kalachi Factory. Not sure if it's spelled right. Oh man, it sounds like Texas has all the spots. And then across our YouTube here, a couple of people saying looks like the second Chipotle is going to be in Windermere. So there you go. And Chipotle is going to be in Windermere and then just off the Whitemud there. So a lot of people fired up for Chipotle. What's your order? I've never had it before, but something we're going to have to check out. And then in Culver, it looks like burgers here. It looks like JJ Watt's actually. So that. We'll take a break there. When we come back, later on, we'll start your fan Tate's 2-minute warning. We'll be joined by Ed Hervey of the Alberta and more here on the Jason Gregor Show. Brought to you by Alberta.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt. And fan favorite, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers, or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Mr. Rooter goes on a water slide.
Welcome to the Sky Screamer. Please keep your arms crossed over your...
Oh, don't worry about old Mr. Rooter. I'm the last person you have to worry about clogging this pipe.
Actually, it's for your safety.
This plumbing-themed amusement park is amazing. To see the world from inside a giant pipe, it feels like Honey, I Shrunk the Mr. Ruta. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm ready to be flushed.
For a plumbing good time, slide into the DMs of Mr. Rooter.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Honk your home for Papa John's newest deal. It's one big deal for one big pizza. An extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's original fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stretched thinner to make 8 extra large slices with your favorite mouth-watering toppings. So hold and fold that slice like a New Yorker. Bigger is better when it comes to pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get some extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99 at Papa John's.
At Toyota, we understand life's full of winning moments, like winning shotgun in an epic game of rock, paper, scissors. Boom. Paper covers rock, Carl. And we design our award-winning vehicles with your needs in mind, giving you a front row seat to all life's victories. Except you, Carl. You're in the back. It's time for everyday wins. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $159 weekly for 60 months at 5.99% with $6,599 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
People living with Parkinson's disease are unshakable, and every year we celebrate them. On Saturday, September 7th, join Parkinson Association of Alberta at Rundle Park for our 12th annual Step and Stride Walk for Parkinson's. Visit parkinsonassociation.ca and support those affected by Parkinson's disease and Parkinson Plus syndromes. Come together with family and friends and raise much-needed funds. Your donation provides support, education, and programs that improve quality of life. Learn more, register a team, and donate today at parkinsonassociation.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Get your Elks Party Bus ticket now, $35, which includes a game ticket, a ride there and back, access to the lower bowl party deck, and a prepaid Coors Light. Book your ticket now at ontherocksedmonton.com, Jasper Ave, 118th.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, welcome back. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Friday, August 16th, Positive Friday. $70 million estimated for the Lotto Max. Also, 42 Max Millions. You've got 5 hours, 39 minutes, and 45 seconds to go get your ticket now. Or just log into PlayAlberta.ca. You can do that as well. Big thank you to PlayAlberta.ca for being our title sponsor here on the Jason Gregor Show. My name is Connor Halley, sitting in for Jason. We've also got Declan Kruger here and Donovan Paulson. Wanye Gretz making his way into the studio. Now, Declan, before we get to Wanye here, are you going to tell us what was the method behind the madness when it came to your song selections the last couple of days here on the Jason Gregor Show?
Yeah, so it was really nothing that intricate. It was basically just artists in order of ascending letter. So for A, I played ABBA. B, I played the Bee Gees. C, I played Creedence Clearwater Revival. D, I played, I forget. E, I played the Eurythmics. F, Fleetwood Mac, etc., etc. So that's all it was. It was really, it wasn't too crazy, wasn't too hard. Not even really that fun in hindsight, but I like doing it.
The little games you play, and you had us thinking. We're like going off the deep end. What does it mean? Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush. Like,
you guys were thinking pretty hard about it. You guys were getting philosophical. You guys were, it was getting crazy.
That's like
I forget who I played for D. I'm really Dire Straits. That's who it was.
The like internet term. It's not that deep. That was you.
It was personified in my game for the past couple days.
Wanye Gretz joins us.
I was thinking about it on the way in, Declan. I'm like, what is it? He's playing some slick stuff on us, that Declan. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I thought I have my investigation kit I brought with me today, including a magnifying glass. I was going to look at all the clues.
It would have been really cool if like every artist I played or like every song I played was like an anagram for like a Nobel Prize winning physicist. That would have been pretty cool, but didn't have the research or time to do it.
I don't have a bulletin board. I wouldn't be able to put all the clues together on the wall.
Charlie Dane, It's Always Sunny.
Exactly.
Was it Pepe Sylvia?
What was that?
That's in the episode of Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny. Pepe Sylvia.
I've only ever seen the meme.
Sylvia. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, never actually seen the show. Just seen
they're working in the mailroom. Carol.
How do you watch? Like, what channel do you get? I don't understand. Like, do you have a smart toaster? How do you watch
FX.
it? FX.
And then I believe Crave has them all, every single episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That I can probably locate.
Phenomenal show.
It's always been a hard show to find.
So good though. You got to get into it.
Interesting.
Danny DeVito, he like gets introduced in the second season. Some of the stuff he comes up with, his character Frank, top notch. I think you'll like it.
Well, I do like mayhem comedy that like shocks you.
That would be the show. Yeah. The first episode you'll kind of what?
It's like season 1 of Simpsons. You have to get past that.
Yeah.
Into the second season.
They're finding their groove. What I do want to get to here right now off the top is around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. With everything going up in price, McDonald's has lowered their price on their premium roasted coffee. All sizes are cheaper and as small as just $1 only at McDonald's. Use the app. That'll help you out a long way, obviously. I made a change here. Usually I go for the $1 coffee, a little extra sweetener. Today I went for a sugar-free vanilla iced coffee. Gosh, it's good.
And you have the app.
You got to have the app.
You're legit.
So many rewards.
I feel like the amount of stores that ask, do you have the app? It's like, and you're shocked if you don't have the app. You don't have the app? Would you like the app? No, I don't want the app, but you have the app.
I have all the apps.
All the apps.
My PC Optimum, I'm up to like $70 in free groceries when I choose to use it. I'm trying to get it higher though.
You're winning.
I want to go in one day and buy like an Xbox.
It's like being on the midway and like wanting to get the 10,000 ticket prize.
That's it.
It's like extreme couponers where they like go in and get money back.
Those people are the best. I don't have that much commitment.
But you have 800 deodorants?
Well, you're good forever. And they're paying you to take it. Okay. So for around the NHL today, I whipped up a few questions. I want to ask the two of you these questions.
Oh, dear.
Maybe I'll chime in. Maybe I won't. But it's tough to track down beat reporters right now because everyone's on vacation because they're going to get to work for the next 7 to 8 months, 9, 10 months, whatever it is, shortly. So they're all on vacation, every single one. So my question to both of you, we'll start with you, Wanye. Will Connor Bedard be the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks next season?
I think so. I think that franchise needs positive storylines, and I think Connor Bedard's ascension into the elites of the NHL is something that they're really banking on. So give him the C, whether he's ready or not.
Declan.
Not next season, but I think the season after that he will be. I think it'll just be one more. Yeah.
1-833-401-1440. Give me your answers. Connor Bedard, is he the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks next season? Question number 2. Toronto Maple Leafs, new captain, new era in the 6. Will they win more than 1.5 playoff series this upcoming season?
Yes. I think they will win 2 series this season. The Leafs aren't as bad as we like comically love to watch them tragically implode and believe.
They flame out pretty hard though.
I know, but sooner or later they're going to have like a mid playoff run. They won't go into the finals. They certainly won't win the cup, Declan. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But a second round exit.
So you think they're a conference finals team?
I could see it. I mean, they're not. We'll see.
Declan?
Yeah, I'm heavy. You know what's crazy? When I actually heard you ask the question, I thought you said over under 0.5.
No.
And I would have taken the under for that as well. So I'm definitely taking the under on 1.5.
Toronto Maple Leafs. This is their last.
And I like Matthews, man. Like I really like Matthews. I think Matthews is a great player that we don't appreciate enough. But I'm taking the under on that number for sure.
8 seasons going back to 2017. Round 1 loss. Round 1 loss. Round 1 loss. Qualifying round loss. Round 1 loss. Round 1 loss. Round 2 loss.
There we go.
Round 1 loss. Yeah, they just like to tease that fan base. Question number 3. How many PTOs do we see from the Edmonton Oilers?
I would love, I don't know if it's via PTO or how they do it, but they got to bring Papa Clutch back to camp. Like Sam Gagne needs to be included. That's the only PTO I'd be extending.
Yeah, I was going to say 2. One's Gagne, and I don't have a name for the second one. Maybe one's more likely, more realistic, but I'll say 2 for the purposes of this roundtable.
One thing the others do that's hilarious, I think, is sometimes they just bring in training camp people that are like a name for no reason. Just to like throw a piece of meat into the shark-infested waters of Oilers Twitter so we can go crazy over something.
Like a controversial player.
Or just somebody of note. It doesn't have to be controversial.
Like Virtanen again.
Wow.
Alex Galchenyuk's out there.
There we go.
Ooh. Deep cut.
There we are.
Question number 4 for you guys. And around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. The Utah Hockey Club will play next season, and they will be called the Utah Hockey Club. But we expect that to change. They have 6 finalists for the names. The Utah Blizzard, the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, the Utah Outlaws, Utah Venom, and Utah Yeti. If it was your call, and it doesn't have to be one of these names, which would you pick?
I would not pick Eskimos. That's for sure, Connor, if you're wondering. That's not even up for debate.
No.
What if you pick the Yeti and then the actual Yeti get offended? And they come to you in 40 years when the Yeti have not only been identified in the wild, but given political representation. And they say, you can't call us the Yeti. You can't run that risk. I call them the Blizzard.
All right. The Blizz.
Mate, you're taking the piss over there. But I would call them the Utah Range.
Oh.
I like that.
What does that mean?
Like mountain range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't evoke fear.
Now, also,
I guess you're not scared of the mountains? It's creepy up there, man. Like the Appalachians.
Man, we talked about dangerous mountain ranges yesterday. What would the color scheme be if it was your choice? Or did they do good with the Kootenay Ice logo symbol colors?
Like the old Labatt logo? Was it Labatt Ice kind of looked like that back in the day?
Black and blue?
No? Never made the tie, but okay, hey. That's all right. That's just how me and my friends rolled. Everything looked like a beer logo when we were little, Connor.
So what's the color scheme? Are you good with the one they have?
I don't know. I need to see the name, right? I honestly wonder if they're gonna personifying it and making it a Yeti, like a cartoon head. That's cool. Different than the what'd you call them? The mountains, Declan?
the range. The
Utah
range.
Mountains.
What color would you go with, Declan?
I really like the color scheme they have. To me, it feels very Utah, but I think that's probably because of the Utah Jazz connection.
And Phil, he says Blizzard. Go Blizz. Final question for you guys on Around the NHL. Who is the biggest breakout player this season on the ice?
I was thinking about Blizzard versus Avalanche. That would be a snow-filled nightmare of a matchup.
Good playoff rivalry, maybe?
I wasn't listening. What was your question? Sorry, Connor.
Breakout player in the NHL. And I want to extend this to everyone listening. 1-833-401-1440.
Connor McDavid has no ceiling. He could break out even further afield next year. He's going to score a lot more. Does that make him count as a breakout player?
People would see it coming.
The top scorer in the league, they'd see that coming?
I think so.
I see.
Declan, what do you got?
I don't know if it might be a bit of a cop-out. Like the first name that comes to mind for me is Jack Hughes, just because I think he really is a player who can be like 100-point plus player and really be in the hard conversation. So I might say him, but if that's too easy of an answer, he kind of already had his breakout season, and it's a bit of a weird pick, but I really like Mackenzie Weegar's game. Like I think Mackenzie Weegar could really step up to be a really, really, really quality top pairing defenseman.
I know in the background, Donovan Paulson is our producer. I think he had Rossi down in Minnesota. Maybe he'll yell it over. Yes. Yeah, that's what we're going with out of a Minnesota. Marco Rossi. I'm going to say Quentin Byfield. And for fun, Philip Broberg. Just needed a shot. Consistent time. I think Philip Broberg's going to have a breakout year.
With what jersey on his body, Connor?
Irrelevant.
No, not irrelevant. You're going to throw Phil Broberg out there. I want to know who he's playing for when he breaks out.
Edmonton. I can't change now. I've kind of rolled with that since the beginning. Although now it seems more and more likely from what we hear from the insiders that Dylan Holloway might be the guy they keep. I'm still sticking with my bro, Broberg.
I can give you a crazy one. Mo Sider, 25 goals.
25?
Yeah.
Don't you have some weird, slick NCAA prospect for the Sharks only you know about? You're like, look out for this guy, Leonard Moritz.
No, not an NCAA hockey guy. Unfortunately, I'd probably be the worst person in this room when it comes to that. So.
Did you see the The breaking news, it was up on tsn.ca from Bruce Garriock out in Ottawa that Cody Ceci or Brett Kulak would be the guy to trade.
Remember my dream? Brett Kulak is the answer. Well,
the only two names I've heard anyone say, but today it became breaking news.
Brett Kulak is
Jot
the
it
answer.
down.
Dream notepad is never wrong.
To Ottawa? Is that
Yeah,
why
I
an
could
Ottawa
see
beat
it.
reporter's breaking it?
Those boundaries for reporters, I think, aren't really a thing anymore. Like people in markets break league-wide news all the time, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You'll get like, even in like, doesn't Shams like break random news in the NFL sometimes? And Woj will drop a bomb and it's like nothing to do with baseball. It happens.
Have you ever broke news?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you know?
I was dropping Oilers numbers for a while.
Oh,
First person to break it.
Cool.
Yeah, that ended. Something happened. I lost my source. But yeah, that was my breaking news. How about you?
I broke that Mike Comrie was coming back to town the first time.
Really?
Yeah. I like found out because I was like socially knowing someone who knew. I was like, can I write that on Oilers Nation? And they were like, well, what's Oilers Nation? I'm like, perfect. Do you care if I write about it? They're like, do whatever you want. I don't care. And I was right. And Robin Brownlee, rest in peace, broke his fingers that day trying to text and call me to know how I knew something before he knew something. And then I was right. And then that was the greatest day of my life.
That's awesome. 1-833-401-1440. Who's your breakout player? Wizard Bob says Connor Brown. Here it comes. You don't think so?
I thought you had something
No,
to follow up
no.
with. I was waiting for your second wave of praise.
Sorry, then I started reading text, and like there's some names that we have, Farm Team Bones, and then one no name. The no name one, I know what you're saying. I just don't know if I can say it on air because I don't want people to have to explain what it means.
Right.
So we'll avoid that one. But last digit 4, send us your name so we can get you into the system. Lots to get to still on the show today. We're going to be joined by Jason Smith, not the former Oiler, but the Fox Sports host that you hear on Sports 1440 from 9 to midnight. We'll talk some NFL with him. We'll also be joined by Ed Hervey, general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet, and Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide. We'll also do 5 questions and a whole lot more. I'll tell you about a cool fundraiser charity event coming to town later in the month as well. If you like, oh wait, I can't. I'll tell you about it on Monday. I just read the date. It's not till the 19th that I can announce it.
What? So until then, it's secret?
It's secret till then.
Oof.
And we'll get there.
You got all the secrets, don't you, Connor?
Mm-hmm. I do. I got all of them. I know what's going to happen with the Oilers offer sheets, but I can't tell you.
You do?
Yep.
Nail Yakupov related?
Perhaps.
Indeed.
We'll tease that as we go on here. Right now, though, let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger. Brought to you by EWELL, supplying the City of Champions and all of Alberta with great electrical gear since 1976. You can order yours now at ewell.ca. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update news concerning the Edmonton Oilers, as reported by Bruce Garriock, the Oilers are exploring the possibility of moving defenseman Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak to help clear cap space in order to match the offer sheets of Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. The kicker being, teams know the position the Oilers are in and are looking for a first or second rounder coming back in return. CFL news, Trevor Harris is going to start tonight for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the quarterback position. AJ Ouellette also returning, and Cody Fajardo will be the backup quarterback for the Alouettes tonight. McLeod Bethel-Thompson is going to regain the starter's position with Trey Ford's injury tomorrow against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in CFL action. And for the full schedule, it is Montreal in Saskatchewan tonight with a kickoff of 7 p.m. and Edmonton in Hamilton tomorrow, kickoff at 5 p.m. MLB scores, just one game going on right now. It is the Cubs up. It is the Cubs tied, 5-5 with the Blue Jays in the bottom of the ninth. Getting going in about an hour and a half here. We'll see the Royals and Reds, Yankees and Tigers, Mariners and Pirates, Nats and Phillies, Diamondbacks and Rays. And later on today, we're also going to see the White Sox, Astros, Guardians, Brewers, and the late game, we'll see the Atlanta Braves in LA taking on the Angels. News out of the NFL is Bengals tackle Dante Smith has injured his patella tendon. No timeline yet for his return. Other news in the NFL. The Broncos have reported Bo Nix is set to get more reps with the starting group versus Green Bay in their preseason battle, and Jim Harbaugh has reported that Colin Kaepernick will not, in fact, be on staff this year. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Jason Smith of Fox Sports Radio. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Bulberry AC, furnace, duct cleaning, or water treatment system. Save up to $2,500 on a complete system and get a 12-year parts and labor warranty with Modern Air and Water. Your Air Ease Pro dealer at modernairwater.com.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution.
Well, welcome back. Visit movewater.ca today.
Honk your home for Papa John's newest deal. It's one big deal for one big pizza. An extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's original fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stretched thinner to make 8 extra large slices with your favorite mouth-watering toppings. So hold and fold that slice like a New Yorker. Bigger is better when it comes to pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get some extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99 at Papa John's.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hey, it's Brad McCory here from St. Albert Dodge. I'm here to say you do not want to miss our final clear out of classic Ram 1500 trucks. It really is your last chance to drive a brand new Ram truck off the lot with 25% off. When these are gone, they're gone. Or how about a Jeep Wrangler with up to $7,500 in savings? Financing on every model. Come see how we earn our industry-leading 4.6 Google review rating. You're going to love how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Well, once again, we had some serious heat this summer. Lots of plus 30, not a lot of sleep. Am I right? Hi, Dennis from Lease Johnson, reminding you that now is the time to book your Daikin air conditioner installation. But Dennis, it's getting cooler. I will just wait until next year. I know, but AC prices are only going to be higher then because of further industry changes. So don't wait. Order your Daikin AC now and get it installed and primed for operation for next year. So when the heat hits, you are sleeping like a baby. Visit wjcools.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We are excited to announce that we now have machining capacity in-house. Quicker turnarounds, improved quality control, and you know what? Ultimate flexibility as well. Call 780-436-2000 or email colin@cantork.com to find out more.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as the Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and Xtreme IG. We're on 1440. If you don't follow us on any of those social media platforms, get out there, go do that so you can tune in to everything we've got going on, contests, content, and more. If you don't find us with the term Sports 1440, drop an AM on the end, and that's where you'll get us, especially on YouTube and TikTok. Young Donovan Paulson running those. Make sure you go give us a follow on those accounts. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, and Declan Kruger with you here. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word SUMMER and get a $50 free play with a $5 deposit minimum only at PlayAlberta.ca. We are going to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I don't know if Declan has it, but we'll get to that at some point on this show here. We don't have it yet, but later on in the show, we'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. We got Ed Hervey, Spec, Lowtide, and Jason Smith of Fox Sports Radio coming up in a bit. But we had just talked about breakout players. Hampton Steve texts in, "Hi Connor, my breakout player for the upcoming season is Cole Perfetti. Based on the Jets roster, looks like he'll be in a good opportunity in their top 6 this season." Yeah, former 10th overall pick back in 2020. Last season, 71 games, 19 goals, 19 helpers. Going back to his time in Saginaw, though, a guy who can put the puck in the back of the net, got some playmaking ability as well. He had 111 points in 61 games for the Spirit. Spent some time with the Moose and working his way up. So, yeah, I think that's a good pick. If Cole Perfetti gets the opportunity, that could be a good one. I believe it was Spaghetti that texted in Logan Stankoven. Well, I mean, we know what that guy can do. We saw him a little bit in the playoffs. Another guy who was a second-round pick back in 2021. Smaller guy, 5'8", 171. You worry about that maybe in the playoffs or throughout the entirety of a season, but 14 points and in 19 playoff games, he had 8 points. That could be a good breakout player for the Dallas Stars as well. Shout out quickly to everyone on the YouTube chat as well. Jax, Caster, Dustin, Gonzo. Make sure we hit that like button. Let's try to get like north of 50 likes on the YouTube chat today. Bruce in the park texting in, "Good afternoon. Good morning, gents. If Broberg and Holloway contracts are matched, do you think there'll be problems in the room with so many other guys taking a cut on their contracts to play in Edmonton?" Bruce in the park. I don't think so. I think when you look at some of the other guys who have taken cuts to play in Edmonton or taken smaller contracts, maybe, the Skinners, Arvidsson still got $4 million. That's not too bad. Could Henrique have got more money elsewhere? Maybe. Those are guys who are more established in the league, have been playing for a long time, made their money. Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg haven't gotten there in their careers yet. Like for Philip Broberg, it's a massive deal, right? Like $4.5 million. We thought it'd be closer to $1 million. That would be quite the pay raise. So I don't know. I'd like to think that it wouldn't cause a bit of a riff. And, they didn't pick that number. That was the number that was offered to them. You'd be a fool not to take it to try to make sure you can lock that contract in. Dylan Holloway's a little bit more affordable. So personally, I don't think so. Wanye, I mean, maybe you have a different thought. We've had a lot of people bring this topic up, like because they signed these sheets and said that they would be willing to go elsewhere. Could that cause a divide? We talked to Jason Strudwick about it. Like he wasn't even asked. He's like, this won't be a problem in the room. He's been there. He's played in the NHL. I think you kind of leave the finances outside of the locker room.
I think everybody in the NHL recognizes they have a window to make money. And I don't think anyone in the NHLPA brotherhood begrudges another brother from trying to make money.
No, I mean, that's it. Like careers don't last that long. You get an opportunity to take that money. You should. Maybe some other players wish they got that opportunity after 80 games played to sign for a deal, $4.5 million. That's a $9 million paycheck in 2 years.
If our friends at Bubba Gump Shrimp walked up the hallway and offered me 4.5 times the current pay to go work at Bubba Gump Shrimp, would you begrudge me if I went up the hall?
No.
No.
I'd come see you there.
Delicious.
You're buying dinner, in fact.
Well, I could probably get you a deal on some shrimp.
I mean, it's just kind of part of the business. And once you're out there on the ice, as long as the guy's got your back, I think you're ready to go. Mike texting, and I got in the car when the radio came on. Did I hear the Oilers traded someone to Ottawa? No. Bruce Garrick out of the Ottawa Sun had put it out there on social media. Got picked up by TSN that the Oilers are not opposed to trading Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak, which isn't a surprise. Those are the two names we've been dropping all week long that would make the most sense for the Oilers, especially if you're doing so to keep Philip Broberg in town. It just seems like it might fit. Cody Ceci probably being the more popular name. And since someone broke it out in Ottawa, we said, could that be a trading partner? The Ottawa Senators. Cody Ceci's been there before.
And I would like to add that I had a dream that Brett Kulak was the answer, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper beside my bed, but I didn't remember how he was the answer, just that he was the answer.
That's the dream board.
So I'm citing my own dream as a source here on the story.
It's all how it came together.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's it. No trade to Ottawa. Nothing's imminent. The Oilers still have till Tuesday, which is approaching pretty quickly. It's only a few days away. We'll find out then what happens if the Oilers decide to take it that far and go from there. Slav from Montreal, we break out this year. Now former number 1 overall pick. Certainly trending in the right direction. I think that'd be good. $1 million for a top 4 D-man ? 4.5 isn't even that bad for a top 4 D-man. I'm with you, Rage Texter B. That's okay. I mean, we'll give it a little bit of time here and see how he pans out. But I think in 1 year's time, people might see that contract for Philip Broberg at 4.5 and say, yeah, I'd pay him that. It was a good move. You're paying them for what they're going to do, not what they've done so far. And if you think that Broberg's trending in that direction, then you know what? I don't think it's that bad of an offer. Right now here, I think we should do it. I think we should get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Now, Cam Tate, we got one in yesterday for him as well. And we're going to do it because Monday, Friday are his usual ones. Yesterday was because of the changes with the Edmonton Elks. The 2-minute warning is brought to you by Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. Of course, Cam Tate has cerebral palsy, always wanted to be on the radio, and through the powers of technology, we've given him that voice. Let's hear it.
Connor, declan. I'm going to tell you 2 beauties a secret. Okay, but you can't tell anyone. So can the listeners turn off their devices or remove their earbuds 1 take long? Couple seconds. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Okay. But you can't tell anyone, not even Mrs. Connor. Okay. Sunday. Edmonton Elks? 7-3, baby? Oh yeah. Hope Ed Hervey didn't hear that. Well, kind of, sort of, but not really. Okay. Thon, thank you to every one of you for selecting the topics recently. I really enjoy it. And I hope you do too. Would love to hear from you on the Twitter at Cam Tate. There's your big hot dog right there. The rest lists this week were interesting. We had more about Larry, the new owner guy. Okay. The Elks and the Hamilton Ticat Saturday, the fire truck issue, and replacing the little tiny weenie fire truck in Elks game for touchdown celebrations, or all the above. Thank the good Lord wasn't the overwhelming results. Some people want to know more about Larry Thompson, the item that received the most votes. Football game Saturday, another big hot dog, because that tells me Elks fans realize this ain't going to be a quick fix. And selling patience to a fan base already disappointed and fans of a football team that hasn't been in the playoffs since 2019 isn't easy. Full disclosure, Your Honor, I was not at Thursday's press conference. I did not meet Mr. Thompson, but watching video and listening to what was going down. Not up. Okay. Sorry. I felt a good vibe. I saw a very unassuming man, not out to make a fast buck or even a buck. A man who has been an Elks fan for 52 years and knows firsthand how this city embraces a winning team. Thompson also said his first priority is to win. And winning changes everything. This is not certainly about him. I mean, his remarks to the media were all 73 seconds. As in a menu 13, that says lots. Tom, personal note, I want to thank creators, listeners, cab drivers, Zamboni operators, my family for all your support. Because on Sunday, I celebrate 45 years in the Edmonton media. My goal, I want to go 50 years. And with support like yours, we'll rip it up pretty good in 2029. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. 2-minute warning. Monday, Friday, Sport 1440.
5 years in the biz. That's very good. Cam, you're going to make it to 50. Don't worry about that.
So is that text to voice?
I don't know what the technology is.
Because that's incredibly emotive. Like if you've ever seen these services that can make audio from like transcription, that's really cool.
The laugh was on.
Yeah. Like you don't generally hear that much emotion in text to voice services. Good job.
Yeah. Love having
cool.
Cam Tate's 2-minute warnings here on the Jason Gregor Show Mondays and Fridays. Cam Tate, 45 years. 50's easy. The last 5's always the easiest.
Incredible.
The texts keep rolling in here. Steve from Drumheller says, no one would begrudge you. The only hang up is why do you play? Referring to the Edmonton Oilers' 2 young players. Stanley Cup, right? So coming off a year where you lost by a goal, then to disrupt things is the problem. Not everyone maybe has the same motive as one person. Like some guys maybe want to get paid. Maybe that means a little bit more. Maybe they didn't grow up with the dream to win the Stanley Cup. Canadian kids for sure. Philip Broberg, maybe he wants to play. Maybe that's part of it. He requested a trade in December. He finally got in, showed what he can do, and maybe there's a little resentment. Like, yeah, this is what I could have been doing for you all season long. I don't know. I get what you're saying, Steve, for sure, because yeah, like you'd think you should just be happy to be here, fall in line. But that gets a little bit tougher. Like, who's to say? Maybe if this offer sheet doesn't come in with a price point that it was, maybe Broberg and Dylan Holloway are like, yeah, hey, we're happy to be here. We'll sign for $1 million and we'll see what happens next year. But that's not the way it worked out. They got handed a buttload of money with the opportunity to go play elsewhere. So it is, I don't know. I don't know everyone's motives. I don't know specifically what drives them, what they want to do, but maybe going to St. Louis could be the chance to have some success. We talked to Andy Strickland yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. The days are blending together. And he talked about how, the Blues, they were competitive. Like, they weren't as bad as people might want to think. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they're a playoff team. They're not, so they weren't. But, with these two additions and, Kyrou, Rob Thomas guiding them further, maybe they get some good goaltending from Jordan Binnington. Like, maybe they are a team that can go on a run. I know they're not the Edmonton Oilers, but maybe these guys in an extended role want to take that opportunity and see what they can do and play more of a role on a team rather than just fit in where they're slotted. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it might be, but I do get what you're saying. Like, if it was a lot of us, I think we'd probably say happy to be on the Oilers, happy to have a chance to win a Stanley Cup, but that's not necessarily going to be the case for everyone. Bruce in the Park texting in, if the lines are 93, 97, and 18, Skinner, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Janmark, Henrique, Brown, Kane, Ryan, and Perry, is it really necessary to sign Dylan Holloway and just go to the farm with guys like Lane Peterson, Hamblin, and the kid we got from Ottawa? Also, could we just sign Barry, who is familiar in playing with Nurse? Wouldn't Barry sign for around $1 million? And with Kane on the IR, doesn't make sense not to sign both. This doesn't jeopardize the dollars for Bouchard, 29 and 97. I think that's a good point from Bruce, because you are going to need some money going forward to pay Evan Bouchard. Like the Draisaitl and McDavid, I think with the cap going up and the percentages of the cap that they've taken up in the past, you're ready for that. But it's the Evan Bouchard contract that's going to be jumping up quite a bit. $3.9 million to
I hear a drum roll in my
8
head.
to 10. Who knows what it might be? Like, it's going to be quite the rise. So when you bring up that, part of me thinks, okay, well, maybe you don't need to pay Broberg, and you just save that $4.5 million and you take the second round pick. And I think people are talking about that as well. A lot more and more people are saying Dylan Holloway's the one you keep and you let the young defenseman go. And maybe you go for a guy where you can just plug and play him in Tyson Barrie. Justin Schultz is another one we've heard a few times, guys that have familiarity with it all. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, I think. What would you do, Wanye?
Remember when I went to Bubba Gum Shrimp to work there for a while? Remember that, Connor? They offered me 4.5 times my salary.
Mm-hmm.
They taught me in the management training program, save money wherever possible. That's the Bubba Gump way. I think we should apply it to the Oilers here.
So you're saying
save money. Don't pay Broberg 4.5.
Let him walk.
Money. Just because the Blues want to pay him that doesn't mean that we should.
That's a good point. I mean, I started off with you got to sign Broberg, can't let him walk. Got to fill that hole. But the more we're talking about it and the more we're looking big picture, the more I take a step back, I get the alternate views.
It's a big problem when you go to start signing your key assets. If you spent all your money on somebody who got an unsolicited 4.5 times annual raise, I just think we're running things too tight as is. If we didn't have Jack Campbell to pay for, if we didn't have James Neal to pay for, we're in a different ballpark. But we've already made our bad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you went out, you spent some money, you left these guys available, and the St. Louis Blues management staff, Armstrong, very, very savvy, making moves. Stan the Jets fan says Cam Tate is outstanding. Yeah, we agree. Absolutely. I love having Cam Tate's words here on Sports 1440 Monday and Friday on the Jason Gregor Show. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some American football with a guy named Jason Smith, who you hear right here on Sports 1440 Monday through Friday from 9 till midnight. And when I say that, I think people's ears perk up. Gator, similar name.
Similar name? Jason Smith is similar to Jason Smith?
Well, we don't know their middle names.
Same name. What if this is Gator?
And Brad would be playing a nice little prank on me.
What if Jason Smith, our Jason Smith, now works for this? This is a new gig and we didn't know.
I can confirm that is not the case.
There's only one way to find out. We'll need to ask Jason Smith if he's truly Jason Smith.
We'll find out next when we talk to him. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers, or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Get a great night's sleep during the final weekend of the Bricks Summer Sleep Event. Take up to 50% off mattresses, up to $1,200 off sleeper sectionals, and buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, shop amazing deals in other departments, like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and up to 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplaces. You won't want to sleep through these fantastic prices. Some exclusions apply. See your store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting. Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And nothing moves Albertans better than Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Here now with rates as low as 0% or savings up to $17,000. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. 0% or $17,000 off F-150s. Only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Whether it's your family's first RV or time to upgrade, we're always here to help at Vision RV. Hi, Larry Ricci inviting you to stop by Vision's brand new showroom today. Out on the lot, literally acres of new and pre-owned models. Are you into deep woods camping or more in the comforts of glamping? You'll find it here, the right RV at the right price. Quick on-site financing, and remember, we give you more for your trade at Vision RV. Easy to find, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on this Positive Friday edition. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson with you here covering for the vacationing Jason Gregor. He will return in another week. We got one more week of us, then Gregor's back. Then football's going to be here. Then we're going to have the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, CFL, playoffs. Really getting into our full swing here.
I feel like Gregor can't take a vacation. I feel like he's at another radio station somewhere talking about sports.
With like an alter ego?
No, just as himself. He's just in like Baltimore talking about the exact same stuff he'd be talking about here, just in different cities' radio.
I like to think of that.
He can't turn off our Jason.
We had a text coming here, 1-833-401-1440 to the UL inbox. Sunny in Vancouver said, "Hey, Connor, how many games did Clefbaum have before his 8-year deal? Is the 2-year offer sheet the same value of the first 2 years of Clefbaum's deal?" Well, Clefbaum, he got a 7-year contract, and it was 77 regular season games played when he got that.
That's all he played of his 7-year contract?
Yeah, so...
Oh.
No. That's how many games he had played before he was offered his 7-year contract extension.
In that extension, how many games did he actually play?
Quite a few. He had 30, 82, 66, 61, and then 62.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, he got into it pretty well, and then obviously we know how the shoulder injury just...
It was a lingerer. I don't think he was injured that final year. I think it was like a multi-year thing.
First 2 years of the contract would have been signed in 15. I don't know when it would have kicked in, but it was 4.16. So less than Broberg's 4.5, but different times, lower salary cap. Yeah, that was a tough one. We have to bring up Oscar Clefbaum every once in a while here on this show, of course. So right now, we're going to be joined by a man who you can hear on Sports 1440 Monday through Friday from 9 till midnight. It is Jason Smith of Fox Sports Radio. This is the NFL Report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. Need service late at night or on the weekends. You don't need overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Jason Smith joins us. Jason, how are you doing today?
Good. You know, Oscar Clefbaum has a really huge Wikipedia page.
He does.
Like way bigger than you would expect. He's got a huge Wikipedia page.
He's someone, his name pops up, Jason, here in Edmonton, like, I don't know, once or twice a week with people just saying, what if he never got hurt? What if the shoulder injury didn't force him to early retirement?
There are so many players you can talk about that and say, oh, if only if I mean, look, being the fan I am of the Mets and the Jets and all this. Look what I had with Aaron Rodgers last year. I had 4 plays and my season was over. I'm just hoping he makes it past carrying the flag out this year.
What was your reaction that game? Like, having watched it up here in Canada where we're not quite in the mix, like, what was the spirit of Jets fans with that horrible injury?
Oh, because we're used to it. I just said, of course he's hurt. When he was sitting on the turf, right, he threw the pass and he doesn't get up and he's sitting there, I go, he's done for the year. That's how it goes. That's how it works. He can't get up. He's done for the year, of course. Then they show the video and you can see the muscle and you just go, yeah, this is how it goes for the Jets. We can't have nice things. We win the offseason. We're great in the offseason, man. You can't beat us in the offseason. When the regular season comes and we actually have to play those pesky games, that's when we get into trouble.
When he came out with that flag, though, to open the season off, that was a moment and a half.
That was great. That's all I have right now. That's all, him coming out with the flag. That's all he has.
Sometimes it's all you need, just a glimpse.
Now
he just has the flag. What else did he do? No, that's the end of his highlight reel. It's him running out with the flag. It's 20 seconds. It's done. That's all he has.
So we're talking Jets right now. Then Hassan Reddick. What's going to happen, Jason?
At this point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's been away. He's been in the building one day. He was there April Fool's Day to take a physical. He's not been, like, what kind of season is he really going to have? He hasn't been around the team. He hasn't been there. He's going to, if anything comes back, he's either going to rush himself back, he's going to get hurt and have a bad year. It's like, we don't even have him. It's like, I try not to think about him. Anytime stressful Jet stuff comes up, I just go on Twitter and I look at the slow-mo videos of Rodgers completing long passes in the preseason. It's like one play is like a minute and a half long of him just slowly fading back and throwing deep and Garrett Wilson catching it. And it's my Zen place. It's where I go. That's whenever stuff like this comes up, I go, no, now after I do this interview with you, I'm going to have to go watch like 10 minutes of those videos.
Jason Smith joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Jason Gregor not here. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you. So let's stay in that division. You got the Buffalo Bills, who we know what they did last year, kind of just hanging around. Then they go on to win the division. The Miami Dolphins, love them in the regular season, love them playing at home. A little question when it gets into the cold weather. And the Patriots, we don't have to talk about. Who's going to win the AFC East this season?
Well, I'll tell you this. The Patriots will pick first in the draft.
Yeah.
How about that? So we'll go from the bottom to the top because they're going to be terrible. They're just going to be awful. As a Jet fan, I want to hope they're going to win, right? I want to hope they can do it, but I've seen this movie so many times. The Bills are taking a little bit of a step back, although I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. They seem to be pretty confident they can replace Stephon Diggs and his production, which makes me a little dubious, but all the reports I'm hearing out of Bills camp, they like what they have so far. They like the depth of receiver. It's really the Dolphins' division to lose. Like, their offense is so loaded. They added another running back this year in the draft. It's really hard for me to see the Dolphins not winning this division. Now, it might not be 13-4 or 14-3. It might be one of those 12-5, 11-7 type records. But I got to say, it's still the Dolphins' division to lose right now.
We are talking a little NFL here with Jason Smith here on the Jason Gregor Show. Let's hop over to another division and another competitive one. When you look at the AFC North, you got the Ravens, also the Cincinnati Bengals. If they can stay healthy, they should be a threat. The Steelers, very intriguing, and the Cleveland Browns, who did it all last year without too strong of quarterback play and with the injury, of course, to their starting running back. What do you make of that division?
That's the best division in football. That is top to bottom. That is the best. Because you could make a case for every team to win that division and potentially be a Super Bowl threat. That's how loaded that division is. You say, well, the Browns are really talented. They went through 11 quarterbacks last year, and they still won 10 games. Like, Joe Flacco was sitting on his couch for the first 12 weeks of the season, shows up, has a great last few weeks, and it's, oh, my goodness, all those teams are loaded. Now, that being said, if Joe Burrow is healthy, the Bengals win the division. Like, he's that good. I'm that big a Joe Burrow guy. He is that special. If he's healthy, they win. If he's not, that opens a door for somebody else. Steelers can make a run, but they're going to have a quarterback change. They're going to have to go to Justin Fields at some point because Russell Wilson is washed. But that's where I keep going back to. All four of those teams are really good. But if Joe Burrow is healthy, they win that division.
What does Jim Harbaugh do in Los Angeles? Do you think he can turn that team around?
Oh, man, I'll tell you. I go from incredible optimism about Harbaugh to going, what are they actually going to do this year? Like, they traded away all the weapons that they had for Justin Herbert, and they're going to build a team around Harbaugh's philosophy of how he won at Michigan, which was a couple of sledgehammer running backs. We're going to play great defense. We're going to throw the football when we want to, and that's how we're going to win. I can't see how you're doing that. You have no weapons at wide receiver. I like Ladd McConkey. I think he's going to be a really good player, but you've let a lot of production go, and Justin Herbert is hurt, and he's just out of a walking boot. And if you want to diminish the quarterback, how are you going to win if you're diminishing your best player? Like, I don't get how that philosophy is going to work, but hey, he's got a lot of excitement going on, and everybody's believing, and that'll take you through the first couple games of the season. And if they get Herbert back in the beginning of the season and he's not still trying to get back out of the plantar fascia injury, yeah, I can see the Chargers having an okay season, being in the thick of it. But man, without him, they really don't have any playmakers. I find it hard to believe that this is going to be a great year for the Chargers. Hopefully the rebuild on the fly is a little bit better than expected.
Jason Smith joining us here on the show. Well, we'll stay in the AFC West. And the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, last year, they kind of took a step towards a point where they scare me even more because they didn't know they don't have to play their best football all season, but they found a point in the year later on when they knew, let's turn it on and go for another run here. How big of a threat are they to three-peat this year in the NFL season?
Oh, they're the overwhelming favorite because they've shown you they can win when they're loaded outside of Patrick Mahomes and when it's just Mahomes and he tries to make it work with what he had, right? Last year was not a great year. They should not have won the Super Bowl last year, but they persevered and Mahomes is able to get them all the way through. That's how great he is. And now you're talking about this year where it looks like Rashee Rice is going to be able to play after all the issues he had in the offseason. You added Xavier Worthy, who's going to, potentially inherit the Tyreek Hill role. and a rejuvenated Travis Kelce, who, if he's playing in front of Taylor Swift every week, is going to catch 12 passes. Like, they're even better than they were a year ago. And that was a Super Bowl where you could say, boy, they kind of escaped with that. And it's weird to say escape with the Super Bowl, but that's that team that was not that talented. They're even better this year. There should be the overwhelming favorites. And I'm sorry, I know you're a Charger fan, but I got to call it like I see it. You're going to be looking up at the Chiefs again this year.
Oh, yeah. I fully anticipate that until Patrick Mahomes decides to hang him up, and then we'll go from there. Now, if we jump over to the NFC, who are you excited to watch this year? Like, give me 2 or 3 teams you think could make a legit run to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, see, now, all right, I'll give you this, because these are 2 teams that I'm really high on this year. Everybody seems to be high on the Packers, right? Like, everybody's looking at what's that next team. The Packers and the Texans in the AFC, those are those it teams that are going to be the real trendy picks this year to say, hey, they can make a big jump to the Super Bowl. But I'll tell you, 2 teams I'm finding it a hard time getting away from as far as being NFC Championship teams. I have a hard time getting away from the Rams. The Rams last year, they completely revamped their team. They went from one of the oldest teams in the NFL to one of the youngest. They were dangerous. They were one of the best teams in the league the last 5 or 6 weeks. Stafford was one of the best quarterbacks. They return all those guys this year. Well, I know they lost Aaron Donald, but this is still a Rams team that is loaded. And when, again, one of the youngest teams in the league, they can make moves if they need to. It was really incredible how they're able to do that. I love the Rams this year, and I love Tampa Bay. That division is not great. The Saints are terrible. The Panthers are still trying to figure out who they are. Give me the Bucs. That defense is really good. Baker Mayfield fits with what they want to do. He was dynamic last year. I can see the Bucs coming up with one of the best records in the NFC, having a home playoff game or 2, and making it to the NFC Championship game. So right now, I'm looking Rams and Bucs. They're the 2 teams I find it hard to get away from.
Now, I want to ask you about the Chicago Bears. In the last couple of years, they've been, must watch just because of the things they've been able to do, whether it's trades in the offseason, making the moves they have. They trade for Keenan Allen, and then they also draft Caleb Williams. You get a new running back there in DeAndre Swift. How serious do you think the Bears can be in the division with the Lions and Packers?
How about this? They'll be the playoffs this year, and they'll be a Super Bowl threat for the next 10 years. Like, that's how good Caleb Williams is. People are sleeping on him because, is Caleb Williams that great? His senior year wasn't as great as his junior year, Heisman Trophy. You had crazy-ass controversy about, he paints his nails, he hugs his mom after the game. There's a reason why Jaden Daniels wins the Heisman Trophy, and there was no talk of him ever going anywhere but number 2. Like, Williams is the guy, and everything we've seen so far, and I've seen from him, he knows where to go with the football. He throws on the run incredibly well. The Bears have loaded him up with weapons. Now, this is going to be one of those years where, hey, they take a lot of people by surprise. They win 10 games and make the playoffs, but they wind up going out to a better team, all-around team, because Williams is a rookie. But the era of good feeling is back for the Bears. Like, they're going to be a Super Bowl threat for the next decade. Like, Williams is that guy. He is going to be that good. And the Bears, they don't have to take anything more than just play this year, see what you need after this year, and then next year you're a Super Bowl threat. Like, I love everything about the Bears.
Jason, I saw the X handle. How about a Fresca? Are you a big Fresca guy?
No, it's a Caddyshack reference.
Okay,
that's one of the lines from Cat, which is the greatest movie that's ever been made. And when I was actually trying to get on Twitter, I was looking for something from Caddyshack, and like all the best lines are gone. I'm like, this is like in 2009. I'm like, oh man, all the best lines are gone. So I was down to How About a Fresca and Moose and Rocco. Like that those are the only ones I can get. I said, I'll go with How About a Fresca. And I was like, okay, great. And everywhere I've worked since then, it's Fox, NFL Network. They're like, man, we need their Fresca's getting free advertising every time you say that. We should get some kind of deal with them. I go, it's Fresca. They're in dusty cans at the bottom of the shelf in any supermarket you go into. I don't think we're going to get any sort of deal with Fresca for me to do it. But hey, knock yourself out. Go ahead and try.
I'm telling you, once every couple of months, maybe even once a year, a nice Fresca actually hits the spot.
See, I feel that way about root beer. Like a couple times a year, I'm like, I could go for a root beer. And then I don't need one for the 6 months. I'm like, I could go for a root beer today. But, but there's no root beer line in Caddyshack, so it's the Fresca.
Oh, well, okay. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Jason, thanks so much for joining us here on this show today. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we can get you on again once we get into the NFL season.
Anytime, and I'm going to continue to go read Oscar Klefbom's Wikipedia page because it's going to take me a while. It might take me the whole weekend.
Check out Oilers Nation and ask Oscar Klefbom. You can see his abs and everything like that. There's a little fandom there up here.
You got it, guys. Have a great rest of the show. Have a great weekend.
Talk to you later. Have a good show tonight. That is Jason Smith, Fox Sports Radio. You can hear him right here on Sports 1440, Monday through Friday from 9 till midnight.
How do you not bring up his multi-year career in the NHL, including time as the captain of the Oilers? How do you talk to Jason Smith and not bring any of his hockey career up?
It never came up.
How do you, what?
It never came up organically.
You didn't even call him Gator once.
I heard he doesn't like that.
He doesn't?
No.
Real Jason Smith doesn't like.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Our Jason Smith.
You head faked me there. I thought you actually knew that Jason Smith, our Jason Smith, didn't like his
Could
name.
you imagine if he just hated that?
Did you see the photo we posted of him? Jason Smith, our Jason Smith, came back this year and did some fan appreciation stuff. His thumb, Connor, comes off his hand at a 45-degree angle at the knuckle where it should come. His thumb isn't like this. His thumb is like this.
For those of you watching on YouTube, it's a right angle.
Pummeling people
in
the NHL. His hands are mangled. What a warrior Jason Smith was. Our Jason Smith. Other Jason Smith can be a warrior. I have no idea. He's quite funny.
Yeah, he's great to have on the show. Great on his own show. Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of it. Next time Eddie Steele's in, we should see how his fingers look. Played offensive and defensive line for a decade.
Get caught in the helmets and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Wasn't there an Australian athlete who cut his finger off so he could play in the Olympics this year? I'm pretty sure a rugby player or something on Team Australia.
I think Ronnie Lott for the 49ers had his finger amputated so he could play quicker.
Mid-game?
Yeah, I don't know if it was mid-game, but
I was just
a different level of commitment.
If only there was a way to look this up. Yes, Wanye, there is. It's called the internet, you fool.
Who needs fingers? Jason Pierre-Paul played without fingers.
What's that mean? Who's that?
Former defensive lineman for a lot of teams, but he's with the New York Giants. There's a fireworks accident and his fingers blew up. He had custom gloves made. Still played very good football.
Australian men's hockey team player, I assume they mean field. Australian men's hockey team player Matthew Dawson didn't flinch while having the top of his ring finger amputated to ensure he can participate at the Paris 2024 games. He broke his finger in the lead up, which would have put his participation in doubt. You got that Olympic dream if you're willing to part with a finger.
And what you said, hockey?
Like field hockey.
That's a hockey player right there.
No doubt.
That's a hockey player. Australian.
Right then, cut it off. Just lop it right off, mate.
Something about a dingo.
Lop it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, more of your texts here, 1-833-401-1440. We're talking a lot of things. American food that we don't have in Canada. What would you like to see up here? Chipotle's coming. What else should we have up here? Talking chips, pop, whatever it might be. You can let us know at 1-833-401-1440. Still to come on the show, we'll be joined by the general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and that's a local legend, Ed Hervey, formerly in management, also a stud wideout. World-class speed, went to the University of Southern California. Might have to see how his alma mater is doing, how they're looking this year. Also, low tide spec, and a whole lot more. 5 questions, too. We'll get to that coming up later on in the show. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, X, and Sports 1440's Instagram, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rule number 41. Never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You turn on the tap and water comes out. You press the handle and flush the toilet. Living in our modern world, we sometimes take for granted or don't even think about all of the services and conveniences that are around us every day. But GS Construction does. Right under your feet, there's a whole network of underground infrastructure that needs to be built and maintained in order to have these basic services. GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community for 50 years. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
Be melancholy, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt, and fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its 3rd season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $11,300 off select Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab models. With employee pricing, combined with Sierra's 6.2-liter V8 gas engine, 13.4-inch diagonal premium infotainment system with available Google built-in, plus available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance tech, there's more reasons than ever to celebrate this summer. Hit it! Oh yeah! Ask your GMC advisor for details.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the 7th Annual Oilers Nation Golf Tournament. Tee-off is 9 a.m. on Friday, August 30th in support of the Gregor Foundation. Register now at nationgear.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
On Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Coming to you live from the eWell studios here in West Edmonton Mall. Lots of foot traffic here. Lots of back-to-school shopping going on. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson here with you. The text line, 1-833-401-1440. Gets those texts in here. Things you'd like to see move to Canada from the States. In and out, says not Fred. Wanye, you're a pretty world-renowned traveler.
Good heavens. What do I miss from the States?
You went to Mexico for a while. What do you miss from the States?
U.S. portions. Let's get real.
Yeah.
You go into some restaurants in the States and it's like they've served food for 4. Sometimes that's great. Another thing I enjoy, I'll never forget the first time I saw a free pour shot. So, you know, we measure everything to the milliliter up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in New York, as in city, as in the Big Apple. And this bartender poured my buddy and I free pour shots into Ryan Cokes. We were both like, this guy's an idiot. He didn't even measure the booze. You couldn't get away with that up
So
here.
cheap there, too.
It's unbelievable.
JCD says beer and cigarette prices. We were in Vegas once, just walking through, like, you know, in the malls in the casino, and they just have random, I don't even know, little bars set up. And my buddy says, I'll get a double rye and Coke. The guy says, that's going to be $20. My friend, you know, that's okay, whatever. So the guy pouring the drinks, like, I'll make it worth your while. Pulls out a red Solo cup, goes like 95% rye, and then shoots in a little Coke and says, "Here you go." My buddy couldn't drink it. It was too gross. In hindsight, we thought you probably should have just went and grabbed a few bottles of Pepsi or whatever
for $42.
mixed them up. But yeah, like they just don't care.
I'll never forget the ATM fees once in Vegas. It was like $20 to take out $20. Just supposed to start crying. But fortunately, if you play cards properly, they'll pay you.
I like when you say like, "Oh, debit." What the heck is debit? They say credit, cash, or how well would you like your burger done? That one throws me off too.
I've gotten burgers before in the States and seen that there's pink in the burger patty, and I feel like I'm about to be like in an ambulance. Like death is minutes away.
And then the healthcare. You would never recover from it.
You see, my brother-in-law got hit by a car standing on the corner in Vegas, clipped, and it was like, I can't even remember how much.
Really?
He'll know. An insane sum of money just to drive by a hospital in Vegas and be like, "I was hit by a car." They're like, "That'll be $30,000.
Do you take debit?
No.
JCD says not Vegas prices. Theo says, please bring Hawaii to Canada.
Smart.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Hawaii is outstanding. Wanye, I wanted to get to this earlier, but we'll talk about it now. It is the Oilers Nation Golf Tournament,
Yes.
Friday, August 30th. I believe we'll be live on location down there. Might be me kind of doing this thing as Gregor's out on one of the holes, but a great fundraising opportunity for the Jason Gregor Foundation.
And Gregor's grads.
And Gregor's grads.
Who we love.
Nationgear.ca for tickets. You've been out to these events in the past, I assume.
Of course.
Sell it to the world.
There's a lot of times you'll be asked to go in golf tournaments, I'm sure, for different things for work, and you only have a certain amount of money, and we understand that. The Oilers Nation Golf Tournament never fails to be a hilarious time because the people who go out there are just ready to enjoy themselves. It's not about par, Connor. It's about having a good life. It's a bigger picture thing. We got always cool prizes at the auctions after, and the Nation people are there, and the booze is flowing liberally like it's a TGI Fridays in Times Square, and you're me in New York. It's good times.
Can't spell party without par.
If you only go to one corporate golf tournament for a hockey website this year, make it the Oilers Nation Open.
Who do you think will steal the show of the Oilers Nation staff? Like, who's the one you want to party with?
Chris Chalmers.
That's the one?
Yes. He's my dear friend. He comes on Real Life, our podcast, and he's in one of the groups this year. And not only is Chalmers, we're back in the day, not so much now, but our friend group was a very competitive golf group. And Chalmers has always been the best out of all of us. And he maintains that crown to this day. Like, he is an extremely good golfer that is not swayed by his alcohol consumption at all. Like, he could have drank your buddy's red Solo cup of rye and then piped a shot up the middle, and like it doesn't even have an impact. So he's the guy you got to look for. Chris Chalmers out there.
That's the one. See, for me, if I'm out on the links having some drinks, I'd say like 1 or 2, 3. That's when I'm at my best game. I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm not overthinking it. You keep going, then I'll probably decline. But I get a couple in me, and then it kind of feels like it's smooth sailing, feeling good.
Most golfers have 2 settings, drunk and sober, right? And you're like, go off the first tee, and you're tight, and you're mad. Then you find yourself on the 14th hole, and you're just piping them out the middle because you've had your ration of rum.
Typically the way it works. Sean says, one of the best things about Vegas, you get free drinks while gambling, and you can take a drink anywhere. They're
not free, sir. I know what you're going for.
Unless you win.
Then they're free.
We were at a slot in Vegas last year, and my wife playing just, the small amounts. Order a couple of drinks. I think we got like a Red Bull and something else, whatever it might have been. I will tell you, she put in at least $20. The casino got their money back.
Oh, yeah.
While you play, you're losing.
I like to sit down at the penny slots, Connor, and order up a bottle of a magnum of champagne. Say, bring it here to me. Just bring 1 straw. I say, it doesn't work like that, sir. You have to gamble more.
What's your hotel?
I don't know. It's tough to say. Like, generally speaking, the Nation, we find a good deal, right? So we're jumping around. So I would say whoever wants to host us, that's my favorite.
I want to just throw it out there. I want to come down on the Nation vacation next time you do Vegas.
To Vegas?
Yeah.
There's a few this year. I think we're doing 6 trips this year.
Me too, for what it's worth.
Interesting.
Can we take the show on the road?
Of course.
You talk to Gregor and see if we can make that happen?
All you got to do, here's the trick. Get a local sports bar to sponsor your show. So be like, I will go to Bar XYZ on the Oilers game night and host a giant party of Oilers fans who would never, ever come to your bar otherwise. And they'll pay for you to go, Connor. It's called capitalism.
Well, I want Oilers Nation to pay for me to go.
We can't do that. Of We're publicly traded in Denmark. No, we could. You should get involved, though. It is a great time, Nation Vacation.
When I was doing my short gig as Oilers Nation after Dark Host, everybody went. Like, literally, everybody went. I had to, like, host a show and produce it.
Oh, yeah.
And then Boardsy came back, and I could tell he was having a good time. But I think I still had to do the majority of the heavy lifting. But, yeah, that's why I want to go down. I want to go to, like, Taco Bell with Yaremchuk.
The Cantina?
Yeah.
You got to. The Nation Vacations shut down the Nation Network. Like, I've seen them where they go and there's no content the next day. Despite everybody being on the road, ostensibly making content, they make no content.
It makes sense. Dealey Stan said Shake Shack.
Shake Shack, that's fly.
Well, young Donovan, our former intern, now professional, he's going to head down to Vegas. So the Duke and I, Brandon Douglas, have been like just telling him, you got to do this. You
Now,
got to do
hold
that.
up. Brandon Douglas is the Duke?
The Duke.
Go on.
Yeah,
Origin?
The Duke of Delburn.
Origin?
Delburn.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
What does Delburn mean?
That's where he's from.
Is that a city?
Yes. Town.
Where?
Hamlet. East of Red Deer.
So he's the Duke.
The Duke of Delburn.
How interesting.
Yes, and we've been telling Donovan Paulson, these are what you got to do. Got to do on the high roller.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do Top Golf.
Big time.
Maybe a show.
What's high roller?
Sports book. Ferris wheel.
Oh.
They have the open bar option.
You can go on a Ferris wheel with an open bar?
Yeah. Time your bathroom breaks well because you got 30 minutes. Once you're up there, there's no washroom on it.
All you got to do is bring 4 bottles. The math sorts itself out. As you get to beer 3, urinals 1 and 2 have presented themselves as empty cans.
That's, yeah. I mean,
It's called a closed loop, Connor, in the electrical world.
Is the fine wire of public indecency.
Mm-hmm.
They call it Sin City.
If you're in a single Ferris wheel cart, no one can see a thing. Come on.
Cut the comedy. Let's talk sports. You guys
for
aren't
heaven's
funny.
sake. Oh, who said that?
Army Daryl.
Army Daryl, it is August 16th at 3:57 p.m. on a Friday. Need to relax.
Wanye, let me take this one. I'm probably the funniest person you guys will ever meet. So I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to comedy. And I'd say we're doing an A1 job.
Imagine being so grumpy that you texted in and said, stop having fun to people. My goodness.
Not funny.
Listen, if you two don't start talking sports in the next 30 seconds, I'm out that door back there.
He's the producer. We'll be up. Oop, almost said a swear word.
I don't try to be funny because I'm not funny. So I'm going to throw it a break and we're going to get to sports after this. We're going to talk some Oilers, some Elks, some NFL, whatever else you guys want to talk about. Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. But as we go to break, we're going to get to a sports 1440 update. Some news and notes from around the sporting world with our good friend Declan. This update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And your Sports 1440 update. Bruce Garriock of Post Media reporting that the Edmonton Oilers are exploring the possibility of moving defensemen Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak to help clear cap space in order to match the offer sheets for Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. The kicker being teams knowing the situation the Oilers have found themselves in and wanting a first or second round pick back in return. CFL Week 11 action rolls on tonight. Montreal in Saskatchewan taking on the Rough Riders. Trevor Harris is returning as the Rough Riders starting quarterback in that one. AJ Ouellette will be back as well. And Cody Fajardo taking the backup reps for Montreal in this one. McLeod Bethel Thompson will get the start at quarterback for the Elks tomorrow as they take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats due to Trey Ford's injury. And in the MLB, one final from earlier was the Jays falling in extra innings 6-5 to the Cubs. Getting going in about 40 minutes here, we'll see the Royals and Reds, Yankees and Tigers, Mariners and Pirates, Nats and Phillies, and Diamondbacks and Rays. In hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Ed Hervey, Tiger Cats GM, and ask 5 questions. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Stingray Radio Station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So, Pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhock beef jerky, because you don't win friends with salad. The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Anything that's exposed to the elements or has moving parts needs regular maintenance. And when you consider an RV, well, it falls into both categories. Lots of moving parts and sitting out all the time, which is why we hire the best RV technicians in Alberta to come work here at our new, bigger store in Leduc.
Noble has giant indoor service space that can hold the biggest RVs in the world.
That's right, Bob. The vast majority of our indoor space at Noble is dedicated to service and repair. You spend the summer in the great outdoors, and we spend the winter doing scheduled maintenance, so you're ready to go next season.
Sounds like a year-round thing, Rick.
That's it exactly, Bob. Our techs are the most highly experienced men and women in the business. We're solving problems and creating solutions every day. Whatever your used RV needs, our service team has seen it before and knows exactly what to do.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
This to the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you here. Come to you live from the Ewell Studios in West Edmonton Mall. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Lotto Max tonight, 70 mil plus Max Millions. Head out online, PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Still to come on the show, we'll be joined by the general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Ed Hervey, former member of the Green and Gold Grey Cup champion, now out in Hamilton. Not the ideal start for the team, but it's the CFL. There's plenty of football still to be played, and that is good news for the Edmonton Elks. They're also 2-7, but on a 2-game winning streak for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's going to be Taylor Powell getting the start. Bo Levi Mitchell not going to be out there on the field for this one. He had some fun on social media, going to say kind of jokes about not being the starting guy. Family needs a lemonade stand now. But we'll see what happens. Always a good time when the Elks take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Maybe the best uniforms in the CFL. I'm a fan of the black and yellow. It's always good.
Fan of the home team, Connor. Sorry. Not a big fan of other cities' teams.
I think our team has a pretty good logo. Pretty good unis. Big fan of the Mike Riley era Elks. When Ed Hervey was our GM, those uniforms were top notch. Gotta believe, baby.
Gotta believe.
You gotta. 1-833-401-1440. That is the text line. Scalding Gourd. I have to read it now. I'd never travel with Connor or anyone better looking than me. Consequently, I travel alone.
Ooh. Army Daryl won't like that. That's a joke.
My favorite Las Vegas hotel is the Bellagio, always changing and themed and lobby display. I once sat with Jerry Jones at the lobby bar. He wanted to talk hockey versus Cowboys football. I suppose he didn't want my take on the state of the team. Ricky and the Donut.
That's cool.
That's a pretty cool run-in, heading out to Vegas to see that sort of thing. I don't think I've ever had any real famous run-ins in Vegas.
You haven't seen a celebrity?
Not there. Or anywhere, no. We saw Willie Nelson once at Disneyland.
That's pretty cool.
He was having lunch at the Pirates of the Caribbean themed restaurant. So I guess that I did. That was kind of cool. We didn't chat, obviously.
You didn't?
We were on the ride.
I see.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Willie.
Willie, what's up? NFL preseason continues on. No games tonight, but you'll got a full slate of games tomorrow, starting off with Atlanta taking on Baltimore. Battle of the Birds in that one. The Atlanta Falcons making some moves in the last couple of days. Justin Simmons signing there, former Denver Broncos safety. Pretty good addition. And Matthew Judon coming over from the New England Patriots in exchange for a third-round pick. Preseason football can be tough. You're sometimes not going to get the starters and can take away from some of the excitement level. But for us NFL diehards, you're going to take it. My Chargers taking on the LA Rams. Battle of Los Angeles. We might see Ladd McConkey make his preseason debut, so pretty fired up about that one. Got Cowboys, Raiders, Bucks, Jags, and early on in the day, Bengals, Bears as well, Giants, Texans. I don't know, Wanye. It's like NHL preseason. It's not necessarily the best, but it will hold you over till we get to the real thing.
Well, it's fun to start debates, right? It's fun to see a little bit of data, start extrapolating some conclusions, right or wrong, right?
Absolutely. When you look at the Oilers roster here, preseason rolls around. Like McDavid, Dry said, all the regulars we're probably not going to see a whole lot. Is there any player you want to see like get as many games as possible and you're really looking forward to seeing lace them up for the big club?
I love preseason hockey. I remember back in the day during the Decade of Darkness when the Oilers would inexplicably have fantastic preseasons. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Like they'd be like undefeated or 6-1 preseason, 7-1, and they'd be out of it by Halloween. I love a good preseason here. Remember Ty Ratty when he caught fire in the preseason answer? I love those days. Preseason's fun.
That was kind of the joke for a few years. Who gets the Ty Ratty award?
Yeah.
For best preseason.
The Vezina of the preseason for players.
Will it carry on? Who knows? But always fun to see.
Good times.
There's a few guys for me I think I'd like to see. I mean, Raphael Lavoie is the one. We know he's got a great shot. That's highlighted all the time down in Bakersfield. Matthew Savoy coming over in the trade.
I'm excited about Savoy.
I mean, former first round pick. He's got you think what it takes. From what we've seen, it looks like it was kind of a robbery on behalf of the Oilers management team, Jeff Jackson and co. But obviously Buffalo was willing to part from him for Ryan McLeod. So maybe Buffalo says, a guy who's got experience, has some speed, maybe given more opportunity, maybe he can find that consistency. Willing to give up a top prospect, but
I think Savoy was injured too, I think.
Yeah. Smaller side. But I mean, that was a move when it happened. Certainly one that I wanted to really see what happened. Lane Peterson's another guy who I know some people have said, maybe he gets that opportunity at some point on the fourth line. There's some guys on this team. Philip Kemp on the back end. I guess it really depends on what happens with the options that we have here. If Philip Broberg leaves, what can Troy Stetcher do? He might be a guy who's counted on next season to contribute a little bit more for the team. Army Darrow's going to keep listening because we have Hervey on. So there we go.
Army Darrow, how can I stay mad at you? We're back.
Iron says, why would the Oilers trade Ceci and Kulak and then give up and give up another asset? It'll be like making one mistake after another. Both players are worth more than giving them away for nothing. Well, Iron, I don't think they would trade both. I think it would be one or the other, personally. You're just trying to get a little bit more cap space freed up if you want to keep Broberg. Now, Cody Ceci is on the last year of his contract. So he's a guy who would be, a pending free agent and could be walking away. A little more money freed up to keep Philip Broberg. If you're doing that, you still have to find another defenseman, whether it is Stetcher, whether it is, some of the names we've heard thrown around. Justin Schultz.
Oof.
Maybe Tyson Barrie. Just those are the names that people have been mentioning. Throw them out there. That would be the reason. If the Oilers are content with letting either Philip Broberg or Dylan Holloway walk away, then, I don't think you have to make that move. I stand by, you want to draft, develop, and reward your prospects. And Philip Broberg is on that route. When the Oilers gave Oscar Klefbom his contract, he was 77 games into his NHL career. Philip Broberg is about 80 plus another 20 playoff games. So kind of similar there. I'm not saying that Philip Broberg would go on to become an Oscar Klefbom. I'll let you make that evaluation for yourself if you think so. But it wouldn't be unprecedented to reward someone at this point in their career. The Oilers have done it, in the last decade, give or take. So I guess that would be the reason. I don't know, though. I mean, we had it brought up earlier on in this show, and you do have to look big picture here, that not only is Leon Draisaitl going to ask for his extension, and you hope he can do that. I think that's easy. I think Connor McDavid's the same sort of thing. But then you're going to have Evan Bouchard, who is going to be getting a payday. So if you let them walk for those reasons, I think it's pretty understandable. If you were to give Philip Broberg that 2 years at 4.5, does it make it a little bit tougher to sign Bouchard after the season? I would think so. So, yeah, it's not just a 1 year thing. You certainly have to look big picture, different routes. I'm sure they've talked about this extensively. David says, so the Oilers are now accepting Stetcher as a replacement for the 8th overall pick. That's the kind of planning that wins you Stanley Cups. Well, no, they're not. I mean, they're talking about what they might do here with Philip Broberg. No decision, to our knowledge, has been made as of yet. I think they'd like to keep Philip Broberg in a perfect world. The cash might be a little high for down the road, but we'll see if they make that decision. I mean, but that is the reality. If you do keep Philip Broberg, you're probably moving on from CC or Kulak, and then you probably have Stetcher playing a bigger chunk of games. So you can't keep them all. The salary cap's there for a reason, and we're all kind of basing this on what we think would be Evander Kane going on to the LTIR. But we still have to see what happens. There is reports that teams want a first or second round pick to take CC and Kulak. That makes no sense. Yeah, I haven't seen that, Iron. I haven't seen those reports. That would be tough, and that'd be very hard to do. If that was the case, you're probably just saying, we'll keep our first round pick and we'll get a second round pick and go try to find someone who's a serviceable NHL man. Shanda Man says that it does make no sense. Yes, it would make no sense. We're on the same page here. Morgan says Bo Akey. Yeah, second round pick from a couple years ago. Obviously going to go back to the OHL. I believe he's with the Barrie Colts and play another year down there. But he's somebody to watch out for sure. See the upside that he does have. Matt Leduc says at the deadline last year, if someone offered a second rounder for Broberg, they'd have jumped at it. It's amazing the difference a few months makes, and that's kind of it. Would they have jumped at a second rounder potentially? We don't know.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yeah,
Stanley Cup Finals.
Things change, and maybe the Oilers at the beginning would have said, "Yeah, okay, we'll make that trade," and then they saw what they have, and they say, "No, well, geez, we value him for a lot more now." Is it $4.5 million? I don't know. Fun talk, though. Fun talk. Big Rig says the other teams want good compensation to make the Oilers have to give up a lot to help them. Well, absolutely. The Oilers, everyone knows it. I mean, my younger sister is not a hockey fan. She knows the Oilers are over the salary cap.
She's so astute.
It's an astute observation. NHL GMs know this. That's why the offer sheets were put out there, because the Oilers are in a tough position. So, oh yeah, you want help? We're going to get as much as we can to help you out. We'll do it. And I still think, like, if you get Cody Ceci or Kulak and you're on a defensive team that's lacking in that department, that's a great addition. I think Cody Ceci on a young team where, he's maybe second pairing, great in the room, that's a huge addition. But you're still going to try to get as much as you can from the Oilers because you are helping them at the end of the day fix their roster.
I don't understand necessarily the Cody Ceci hate. Like, yeah, there's times where he might get walked or there might be the odd play here and there, but I thought he's been pretty much as advertised since he arrived in Edmonton. I thought his play, especially Mr. Game 7 during the playoffs, I don't understand the hate.
I'm with you. I mean, there has to be blame going somewhere, and when things were going wrong, Cody Ceci, I guess, did have some bonehead plays at times, but that's hockey. No one's ever going to be perfect. You're never going to have a perfect game out there and never make any mistake. I still think he's serviceable.
Plus, he eats up minutes, so he's bound to have things happen. He's playing.
Is this the GM or AGM saying beep you to Stan Bowman? I don't think so. I mean, hey, let's not sugarcoat it. It's Stan Bowman's past probably hasn't won him over with anybody, but this is a team or a chance for a team in the St. Louis Blues to do something to improve their hockey club and only have to give up a second and third to do so. It's going to improve them immediately, and second, third round pick probably going to take 3 to 4 to 5 plus, and there's no guarantee years to really help them. Why wouldn't you make this move? It's just, I think for Armstrong and the St. Louis Blues, this is a chance to make it, and they have the cap space to do so, so they're going to take advantage of it. Montana to Rice says, that changes everything if they trade Broberg at the deadline. They probably keep Vinny. And yeah, if we have to go back in time to do so, yeah, it probably changes your priorities and what you do with pending free agents. Ed said, Broberg is a must. Otherwise, the Oilers are looking for a young pair of legs on the back end. What are they going to pay for that? From Ed. It's another way to look at it. You'd have a young defenseman locked up for 2 years at $4.5 million. Maybe it's a little high right now. Maybe in a year that changes. JR in Red Deer says, if you have to give up a first round pick to get rid of a defenseman, that would be a double loss. I think you let Broberg go. The window is 2 the next years. Is Broberg that much better than Kulak? Yeah, more in the next year, we don't know. The next 2 years, he could take that jump. In the next 5 to 6 years, yeah, he could be a lot better. You know, Kulak could be done in the NHL and he could still be playing. Long term, it could be, but it'd be more expensive. Scalding Gore says asset management. They may trade both CC and Kulak and sign a UFA for $1 million. Barry, Shattenkirk, Addison, Klingberg, Schultz, and a bunch of others are out there. They really need cap flexibility and don't seem to care about defense as they prioritized forwards in the offseason. Matt Leduc, does Doug Armstrong have a history of Jeff Jackson clients when Jackson was an agent? That's actually a good question. That might be something to look into. We had yesterday on this show, Andy Strickland, talking about, how Ken Holland and Armstrong are buddies. Like, if he was there, this doesn't happen. He wouldn't do that to his guy. With Jeff Jackson and his history as a player agent, that's actually interesting. I don't know if it matters, but I can't say either way if he does or not. JR in Red Deer, Leafs fans hate CC. So Oilers fans can see that he's actually decent. Elevator Darren, shame on not getting these contracts done. Look in the mirror, Oilers brass. You brought this on yourselves. Now deal with it. I kind of agree with that, and I've brought that up a couple times. Like, this could have been handled during the season. Now, Philip Broberg probably wasn't too eager to sign during the season as he demanded or requested a trade in December. So I don't know if that one was going to get done, but you got to think Dylan Holloway at one point you could have made him an offer, kept him in town for another year, lock it in so this doesn't happen. Philip Broberg, I think, might have been inevitable. I don't know if you were signing him prior. Maybe you could have got it done in the last couple of weeks here, but I think Dylan Holloway is one you probably could have got done.
I'd be interested to hear from somebody like maybe we were talking with former GM Gord Stellick about like the psychology of being a general manager. Do you purposefully leave it until later in the summer so a younger guy is maybe sweating it a little bit, right? Or what's the psychology of getting it done earlier before like the final year of a contract, right? When do you do that? When do you not? Because there's a lot of gamesmanship, but there's such big amounts of money in play. If you can play some sort of inception game on a player as a GM and save $200,000 on a contract, it's worth your time to try.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Friedman mentioned Broberg was looking for $1.8 million. Do you think that was Jackson trying to play hardball from Shan the Man? Maybe 1.8. Like I've said, we talked to Spec, we talked to Zach Lang of Oilers Nation. We had the number for both of these free agents at 1 to 900,000. That was the guess. 1.8 million. You think you could find some middle ground there if you were Jeff Jackson, just trying to get it going here. I also wonder, in the process of hiring the general manager, did they get put on the back burner? Well, like, was that Jackson and Co saying, we'll wait for our next GM to come in and make that move? Or I don't know, maybe there was no search. They knew they were going to hire Stan Bowman and they had the discussions about it, but
didn't Chia on his like last week in office, or was it Tambo, sign Koskinen?
Peter Chiarelli.
And you're like, what on earth is this guy doing? Like, why isn't the new guy making the calls, right? This could, to your point, Connor, could be the counter argument, right? Leave this until we have a new GM. In the grand scheme of things, he's got the enormity of the Connor contract and the Leon contract.
Bouchard contract.
Exactly. This wasn't probably expected to be the one that blows up in their face.
Yeah. Maybe just thinking, oh, no one's going to do it. But I've also heard reports that a lot of teams were looking at the Oilers like, why not do this? They haven't signed them. They don't have the cap space. You might get this done with ease. Put a high enough number. Also, the compensation, so it's good enough that the Oilers might take it. St. Louis pulled the trigger. Big Rig says, even if the offer was 1.8, why wouldn't you just sign it? Like, he's well worth it. Yeah, if it's $1.8 million, I got to think I'm making that deal for Philip Broberg. Keep him in town for another year.
If the Oilers had any inkling that they was going to get an offer for $4.5 million, I think they would have moved completely differently. This must have been a complete and utter shock to them.
Yeah, I mean, all right, we got an offer sheet in for Broberg. Like, oh, okay, what is it? Like a 5th round pick, 1.3 mil? No, it's quite a bit bigger. 4.5. What do we do? Great drama, though.
Great drama.
Great drama. Lots of more drama in other aspects of the sporting world. The Edmonton Elks looking to make it 3 straight wins over the weekend as they head out to Hamilton, take on the Tiger Cats. It's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff. If you want to go watch the game with some good people and myself, we'll be at Castlewood Pub for the Elks watch party tomorrow. That gets going at 5 o'clock. Come on out. You got some food and drink specials, prizes. The cheer team will be there. It's a whole lot of fun. Castlewood Pub, if you want to come out tomorrow. If you're interested, let me know. I can send you the address, of course. But we're going to talk about that game next as we'll be joined by former member of the Green and Gold, one of the best to ever do it, Ed Hervey, one of the greatest deep threats in the game. The guy could absolutely fly. Also a USC alum. They moved to the Big Ten. Maybe get his thoughts on that as well. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
You turn on the tap and water comes out. You press the handle and flush the toilet. Living in our modern world, we sometimes take for granted or don't even think about all of the services and conveniences that are around us every day. But GS Construction does. Right under your feet, there's a whole network of underground infrastructure that needs to be built and maintained in order to have these basic services. GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community for 50 years. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
You don't work for GMC, but it's kind of like you do because you pay what we pay. GMC employee pricing is on now on all 2024 GMC Sierra half tons and Hummers. Oh, but at Wolf GMC Buick, it's even better. Get GMC employee pricing on every in-stock 2024 GMC. If it's new and a 2024 and it has that beautiful GMC logo on it, then it's GMC employee priced. Pay what we pay, but only until August 26th. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now and see the over 200 GMCs in stock.
Rule number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina. Next, you're going to tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they won't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Get a great night's sleep during the final weekend of the Brick Summer Sleep event. Take up to 50% off mattresses and up to $1,200 off sleeper sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, shop amazing deals in other departments, like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplace. You won't want to sleep through these fantastic prices. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
So you've decided you want to start hiking. Nobody would say, I'll just wear my kids' flip-flops until I have more experience. The first thing you do is buy the right shoe size and style to fit you. Same with golf. You can't just buy clubs off the rack. They won't be the right size or style for you. Only Fitted Golf works with you to identify your swing style and then matches your clubs exactly to that swing. Check out our Instagram and YouTube channel to see the success others have with clubs fit to their swing. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
At Toyota, we understand life's full of winning moments, like plugging in a USB correctly on the first try. Nailed it. We've also designed our award-winning lineup of vehicles to fit seamlessly into your life from the first time you get behind the wheel. It's time for everyday wins. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 60 months at 6.49% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Have you lost control of your debt following unexpected car troubles, home repairs, an illness, or a divorce? You're not alone. Life happens. My name is Parveen Middleton, a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton, and I'm here to listen to your story. Every day, I craft personalized debt relief solutions to help people like you regain control. Take the first step now. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can4. We are excited to announce that we now have machining capacity in-house, quicker turnarounds, improves quality control, and ultimate flexibility. Call 780-436-2000 or email colin@cantork.com to find out more.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson with you here on Sports 1440, also on the Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Of course, you can check us out on Instagram, streaming live on the Sports 1440 account. And lots to get to here on the show today. Of course, we will be joined by Alan Mitchell later on here from the Lowdown Flow Tide, as well as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. But right now, we are going to talk some football as the Edmonton Elks on their way out to Hamilton to take on the Tiger Cats. Both teams 2-7 right now on the season. It's a very big game tomorrow night, 5 o'clock out in Hamilton. We bring in the general manager of the Tiger Cats, Ed Hervey. Ed, thanks so much for doing this today. How are things going for you?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very good. Thank you, Ed. Before we get to your team right now, I'm sure you saw the news, a transfer in ownership with the Elks. You spent a lot of time with the Eskimos here in Edmonton, had a lot of success on and off the field. When you saw the news that they found an owner, what were your thoughts on the whole situation? And do you think this is a good thing for the team, as the franchise, as well as the CFL as a whole?
Yeah, when I heard the news, obviously hearing it earlier in the year when the team actually was going up for sale, again, it was kind of mixed emotions because of the way the club has always been ran. But considering the state of the franchise and where it was financially, I obviously didn't want to see the club, suffer or go away. So, I look at the situation yesterday with the new ownership, and you just kind of applaud that someone stepped to the table and, saved the franchise, so to speak, and showed the true passion that is the people of that community that would want to be a part of not only the CFL, but, take over a franchise that's rich in tradition and has many success in years past. And, again, with an eye on looking at that, doing that in the future.
Now, you're kind of someone who's got that rare situation where you've done so many things in the Canadian Football League. You're just a player, Grey Cup champion, obviously. Then you get into management. I don't know if you can tell us too much about it or take us behind the scenes, but how much of a change do you think this makes for the Edmonton Elk organization going from the community-led team to just having one owner?
Well, I think it's less people involved in what you're doing. Again, it depends on what kind of structure and what kind of model they choose to have. But single ownership, really falls on one person. Right? They make the ultimate decision, whereas the previous model in Edmonton, and the community-owned teams. I mean, you have your CEO who makes a lot of the franchise decisions, but again, it has to go through a board, and they have to be aligned in things that the direction of the football team. And if things are going well, it's fantastic, and if things aren't going well, then you hope that everyone has the best interest of the club moving forward. And I think that's kind of really your difference, is just that it's so many different factions, and the boards change over so often, where the ownership is consistent and solid. And, if there's a commitment to winning, again, as I said earlier, one voice, one person to deal with, and depending on how their model is going to be set up, you can have success that way. And this league has had success with both. It's going to be interesting to see how Edmonton does the transition, and looking forward to seeing it.
Ed Hervey, general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for the vacationing Jason. Ed, obviously, maybe not the results you'd have liked to have seen so far from the season, 2-7, but similar to the Elks, a couple wins in the CFL can do a whole world of difference, and you can be right back into this one. What hasn't gone right for your team so far this season?
I think, us being a young team, we still have to learn to play together, right? And then, with our vets, early on, we needed our vets to play a little better. And, we had some inconsistent play there. And I think the overarching issue with our team in recent weeks has just been turning the ball over. We have to protect the football, and obviously we have to stop people when it counts, and make create turnovers. And those have been things that we've been inconsistent of. Like, we'll play in spurts, and when we're playing good football, we can play with anyone. And then when we have our moments where something goes wrong, our team has to learn to shake off the adversity much sooner than they do it, and just apply themselves and continue to play. But looking at it, again, as you mentioned in the CFL, you can win a couple more games and get on a streak. I think that with our team, we haven't lost focus. The guys haven't lost their drive. We just need to play better. And there's a great opportunity tomorrow night at home playing Edmonton.
Taylor Powell gets a start at quarterback, a smaller sample size, just his second in the CFL, 25 years old, out of Eastern Michigan, 80% completion percentage in the season so far, a couple touchdowns, no interceptions. What have you seen from Taylor Powell that gives you confidence that he can be the guy for you going forward?
Well, we've had Taylor with us last year, so we have a much larger sample just from his rookie season, and having an opportunity to see the progression and the jump in his not only his maturity but his understanding of the offense. Where he also brings a clear understanding of the offense. He makes good decisions. He protects the football, and he's mobile. He as you've seen last week, if you had a chance to watch, he's not afraid to touch the ball and run and get yards. So he adds that element to our offense that gives us a little bit of a boost. With some athleticism at the quarterback position. And above everything else, just seeing him every day, how hard he's worked and put the time in. He's one of the first people in the building and the last to leave. He's confident, and he's eager for the opportunity, and now it's in his hands. And I think that the team has also shown their confidence in him, the players, and there's an appetite to rally for him, and looking forward to seeing him do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through the stats page. Haven't got a chance to see every snap, but 6 carries, 2 of them for 10+ yards. Tells me he knows when to tuck it down and go for a little bit of a run. Ed Hervey joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Ed, it is a results-driven league, and we know that. You talked about it, though. It's a young team, building it up, getting into the right direction. Record aside, how do you evaluate the season so far for your team?
So I think it's the book is still out on our team. We have another half of the season to go with 9 games left. I mean, we've seen in the CFL, things can turn really quickly. If we're looking at the first half of the season, I would say that there was missed opportunities in the first half. of the season. So we have somewhat of an incomplete grade in some aspects, but a lot to be optimistic about. We have, again, we have a young receiver in Shamar Bridges who's having a really good year. We have a couple of running backs here. We got running back Greg Bell, who, we're looking forward to seeing give him an opportunity. We think our offensive line is one of the better ones in the CFL, just based on how they've been able to protect whichever quarterback that has been back there. We feel like we have some young team that has tremendous upside. Just need to put it all together. And again, with the rest of the season to go, we're really just excited about that. But I also understand that with young teams, you have to also be willing to accept some of the growing pains. And I think that's where, at least for myself, the patience of that. Now, again, some people want it right away. But, for those last few years, we were a much older team. I think we were one of the older teams, if not the oldest team in the CFL. So, we're making that transition to where we are, and we just need, get players to step up and step up consistently.
Ed Hervey joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Ed, I don't know how much you've really had a chance to see the Edmonton Elks in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, you're very busy managing your own team, but the last time you two teams met, 44-28 victory. Very good performance from your group. Have you noticed any change in the Elks the last couple of weeks? And I know this week is not going to be without Trey Ford, but maybe what have you seen from Trey Ford since he was able to get back into the field?
Well, I think the same thing that I've seen from Trey Ford every time he's gotten on the field. He's an exciting player. The team seems to really rally around him. They get excited when he's out there. There seems to be a boost in what they do offensively. And there's not too many players in this league defensively that can run with him. I think we all know that. And when he gets back there and he starts to scramble, we've seen the kind of magic that he can do. And I think when I watch their team, I get the sense that they feel really good when he's out there. I think the players, offensively speaking, feel like they have a chance. Even when a play breaks down, that there's an opportunity where he can buy time and extend plays. And if he gets loose, you have to look out because he's very difficult in that respect. I think when he came in against us, he showed a lot of that, and you can see the confidence growing in that Elks team as the quarter starts to end. So we know what we're facing. We know what kind of challenge we're facing. I'm not sure what the situation is with him this week. I read that he's doubtful. I haven't had a chance to really look, but we're ready for whoever lines up out there. But again, he is a tough player to play against. And I don't think that's just for us. I think that's anyone that faces him.
Yeah, he's not going to dress. McLeod Bethel-Thompson will get the start. So a little less of a running threat there for your defense. Last question for you. Your alma mater, the USC Trojans, making the jump to the Big Ten this year. Are you a fan of that decision to move?
I understand the economics of it, but again, the old way of doing things, is no longer the way of doing things. I just believe in FC football. They have an opportunity to be a part of something much larger than what college football has been over the last 40 years. And as teams start to realign in conferences, the financial part is obviously makes sense. Am I really a fan of, having to possibly go to Rutgers and watch them play if I'm in Southern California? No. But if I'm out here, and they happen to be in the neighborhood and they're playing Michigan and Michigan State, hey, there's another opportunity to flip down and go watch them play. So I'm not one to criticize the evolving state of college football. I'm just looking forward to the excitement of college football, how we're going to have an opportunity to see the different matchups that we haven't seen over the years. And I'm really excited about the expanded playoffs that the college football has. So I think from that standpoint, just looking forward to some good football and looking forward to seeing how it all plays out in the future.
And my apologies if you haven't had a chance to see him play too much, but Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears as a talent evaluator, how much upside do you think he has at the pro game?
Well, he has shown the ability to make all the throws, right? And I think with him, and it all depends. With quarterback position, you have to be able to protect him first, right? And you have to have an offense that suits their skill set, and he has to have playmakers. And from what I understand is just watching the Bears, they have, they set all that stuff up for him. But with him, he's a calm player. He's accurate. He can throw. He can make all the throws. He can make throws on the run. He's just going to be one of those guys that, as he continues to play and progresses with the NFL game, I think he's one of those guys who everyone was pointing up, and he does a lot of pressure on him. But looking at him, I don't think the stage is too big. Just having a chance to see him in the preseason games, he seems like he's quite comfortable in the offense that he's running. So, I'm wishing him luck and hope that he does well. And when quarterbacks play well, the game looks well and it is enjoyable. When you have poor quarterback play, the games aren't so enjoyable. So, I'm rooting for him from that standpoint as well.
Well, Ed, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate you answering some questions that have nothing to do with your team. It was awesome to hear that breakdown, and best of luck tomorrow and the rest of the season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. Ed Hervey, general manager of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Man, I could have asked a lot more questions there when it comes to SC football and just some of the talent evaluation. But also love to one day just watch film with a coach. Like, it would be so humbling. Because I'd be like, oh, that throw was terrible. And he'd, oh, well, receiver ran the wrong route. The protection wasn't good. All these sorts of things, and just look like an idiot. But anytime there's like someone who's as good as that at that level, it'd be cool to pick the brain just a little bit more. Imagine watching hockey film with Coach Knobloch.
Who do you think would be, if you could watch Oilers film with anyone, who do you want to watch it with?
Connor McDavid. I'd love to see him
breaking it down.
What are you thinking here? Are you thinking? Is it just natural? Or when you pick up the puck in your own end, are you seeing things and how they're going to play out?
I wonder how much a guy like Connor watches game film.
I mean, just to pick up tendencies, maybe?
Yeah.
You think so? Because there's times you see what he did against the Rangers where he goes 1-on-4. I wonder if he sees Trouba out there and he's in his brain calculating, Trouba's here, don't do that. He will come hit my head with his elbow. Or, things of that sort. Oh, okay, I'm going 1-on-1 with Doughty. This is what I want to do against him. Does he see and think the game that fast? Or is it just instinct?
Does he have time to compute who he's facing and what their Achilles heels are?
This guy will throw an elbow. Don't attack. Maybe go wide on him or something like that. And I think it'd be cool just to see how he thinks the game. How about you?
You have to think a guy like Connor is just seeing things on such a different level that watching game footage with him would be crazy. But the coaching staff too, would be really interesting to hear. I don't know who the biggest game day film guy is on the team, but there's got to be some people that are huge into it.
Like Paul Coffey. This is what I would have done, but this is what I tell my guys to do. I would have gone coast to coast, bar down, quick little celly.
138 points, cool mustache.
Yeah, no big deal. We'll take a break. When we come back, 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. You're watching and or listening to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Well, once again, we had some serious heat this summer. Lots of plus 30, not a lot of sleep. Am I right? Hi, Dennis from Lease Johnson, reminding you that now is the time to book your Daikin air conditioner installation. But Dennis, it's getting cooler. I will just wait until next year. I know, but AC prices are only going to be higher then because of further industry changes. So don't wait. Order your Daikin AC now and get it installed and primed for operation for next year. So when the heat hits, you are sleeping like a baby. Visit wjcools.com today.
Summer starts with the service department at Vision RV. Hi, Larry Ricci here. Before you set out for another season of camping, traveling, and exploring, be sure to book your RV in for servicing. Maybe it's a peace of mind inspection, or does your RV need some TLC? At Vision, we have 10 state-of-the-art service bays, a drive-through appointment bay, and a fully stocked parts department, plus a cozy customer lounge while you wait. Summer service, Vision RV, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Christensen Communities. Have a peace of mind knowing your loved one is in the best possible hands. Christensen Communities have safe retirement living options all across the province. Now welcoming new residents, visit cdlhomes.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
On Sports 1440, coming to you live from the eWell Studios here in West Edmonton Mall. The real power place to shop at eWell for all your electrical needs 24/7. eWell.ca is your partner in power. EWEL.ca. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson. It's a four-man operation as we're streaming and going live on the AM dial. Today on the show, it's been a lot of fun. We've had some off-topic. We've had some on-topic. We've gone all over the place, and we're going to keep it going here as we get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. There's no better way to celebrate the Brick's 53rd birthday than with great deals. So come on down, check it out at thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. Reports that the Oilers are looking to move CC and Kulak in order to match the offer sheets on Broberg and Holloway, but the teams are looking for a first or second rounder coming back their way since they know Edmonton is in a corner. Quite bluntly, do you trade either player plus that first or second round pick in order to match the offer sheets?
No, I don't think I do. I think I want to keep that asset because if I give that away, then we get to trade deadline, and then it's like, what do we do with it? I know I don't want to lose those young players, but if it's costing me a first or a second, I'm thinking about it, but a first, no, I need that going forward. I need to make an addition at the trade deadline. There's going to be something you can improve upon. So if it's a first round pick, that's the asking price. I tell them to kick rocks.
I wouldn't be trading, I would trade Broberg and Holloway, and I would value salary cap stability and like conservative fiscal planning. Just because the Blues came out of left field with this double offer, I don't think that we should match it and take our old fiscal plans and cast them to the wind.
Question number 2. Elks in action this Saturday in Hamilton, and it will be MBT, McLeod Bethel Thompson, as the starting quarterback. Can I get a score prediction and a bold prediction from you for the game?
Score prediction. Well, I can't go against the green and gold, so I'll say the Elks, they bounce back from their last performance. Defense has a better performance, but we still get a bit of a high-scoring game. I'll say 27-21 Elks, and McLeod Bethel Thompson bounces back, strong performance, completes north of 70% of his passes with 2 or more touchdowns. Efficient performance coming from MBT.
A very detailed prediction. I don't necessarily understand the Elks to the same degree, Connor, but I do think with a new owner, it's like the new coach bump in the NHL, right? New coach comes in, scares everybody. They all try harder, sit up straighter on the bench. I think the Elks will win with a new owner for the first game.
Question number 3. The Premier League starts today. Who finishes top 4?
You want this one, Wanye, or you want me to handle this one to get going?
Well,
here?
I'm familiar with EPL. I don't know necessarily top 4, but I do think that Man City is going to win it all, much to Declan's dismay. I like them best. They're spending big money. That's the way you win in soccer.
So we're talking representing in the Champions League. The following,
yes, sir.
All right, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea.
Nah, good shout. Good pick.
Just sneaking them in there for you.
Yeah, I'll say I'm gonna go crazy and say Arsenal wins the league this year. They're
close, right?
They're right there, and they're kind of due, but City's obviously just better. I'll say City second. I think Liverpool's third. I think that's a pretty solid top 3. And then I will also say Chelsea finishes 4th. Little improvement from 6th last season.
Very intrigued how Liverpool does without Klopp.
First season without Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
Yes. It'll be interesting.
Arnie Slot.
Pardon?
Arnie Slot.
Yes, sir. Question number 4, as per a conversation earlier today that stemmed from Donovan Paulson, what is the worst movie with the best cast?
This one I didn't even have to look up because I've had a beef with a movie since 1997 when it came out, Declan.
Anaconda?
With J-Lo and LL Cool J?
Yeah.
Why would I hate on one of the greatest movies of the modern era?
I love that movie, but I thought that's where you were going.
No, but good movie to put on the list. No, I don't like the movie Batman and Robin. A long time ago, George Clooney came out and Chris O'Donnell was supposed to be Robin. And I remember I was like a little kid. I'm like, this is going to be fantastic. And I went to the theater, viciously disappointed.
Was Batman and Robin the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze?
You're darn right.
Yeah,
Freeze was
okay.
there.
I love that movie.
But
It's so bad, but I love it.
Those are titans of the industry.
Uma Thurman was in that movie as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Catwoman.
No, was she? I thought she was like Poison Ivy.
Right.
Poison Ivy.
Halle Berry was Catwoman.
Wow.
Ooh.
So we actually talked about this. Yeah, I was out there in the bar when this conversation was going on. I said this movie. I've recently seen parts of it, and it was a little more intriguing. Had some laughs, but for a long time I said I don't like Armageddon.
Oh,
but that cast, I got to read through it here. Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler, Will Patton, Steve Buscemi, William. Is it Fichtner? I don't really know him, but I know his face.
Sir, there are 2 scenes in Armageddon. I take umbrage with you saying this. Number 1, when Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler are getting ready and he's about to go risk his life and he's walking animal crackers around in her stomach. If you don't feel anything then, Connor, you're dead inside. Secondly, when Bruce Willis hits the button to send Ben Affleck up into the space shuttle, condemning him to death on the asteroid, how do you not feel something, Connor? Shame on you.
The ultimate sacrifice.
It's a great movie, Armageddon.
Saw it coming.
Someone said
10 years in advance. Oh, well, I wonder if Bruce Willis is going to be the hero here.
Shame on you.
Now,
someone said it was cut like a 90-minute Super Bowl commercial because of all like the flash cuts and stuff like that. And I think that's like a pretty accurate description.
Gentlemen, it was the 90s. We were riding high.
Now we also had Owen Wilson and Michael Clark Duncan. Great cast. Laughed at parts of it when they were like talking about things they want to go do this and they don't want to pay taxes.
Ever.
Very funny line there. But I got to go with what I had previously thought. I thought it was kind of a cheesy movie, but a great cast and a great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. Aerosmith, Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
That's the only song I know.
It was made for that movie, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a time frame where like you would release a movie and then you'd have a featured song like Will Smith Crush It.
Every summer, he had the #1 hit in the #1 movie.
Wild Wild West, Men in Black. They did this one. Didn't Madonna have one for Austin Powers or something? Like
Ray of Light,
maybe. I don't know. It just seemed like back then, and we don't see it quite as much, like music videos with cuts from the movie.
Oh, it was great. Bad Boys was great for that.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
And I'm going Valentine's Day, by the way. You guys know that movie?
What?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Man, everybody. Like anyone who was an A-lister in Hollywood was in that movie.
That's like she's not that into you or whatever. He's not that
just
into
not
you.
that into you, but like on a grander scale. And like Bradley Cooper, Julia Roberts, like Jessica,
Jennifer Garner, Jessica Biel, Jamie Foxx.
Thank you.
Anne
Yeah,
Hathaway.
Just called Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Ashton
Topher
Kutcher
Grace was in it. Ashton Kutcher,
Taylor-
Jessica Alba.
Yeah. Taylor Swift was in it.
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah.
Power couple.
Patrick Dempsey.
Stop it. Like, come on. You're telling me that's not the answer?
I haven't seen that movie, so I can't be too critical of it.
That's pretty bad. And question number 5. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of underappreciated Oilers?
Love another Mount Rushmore.
Not a
Wanye.
big deal.
I gave this some thought. Go ahead.
You lead the way here on this one.
I'll just give you my reasoning, but I'll just say who they are. So Dwayne Rollison, I put on my Mount Rushmore because I'll never understand why they let him leave only to sign Javi Bulin, who was older and more injured. UC Markkanen is on my Mount Rushmore because him coming in the 06 Cup Finals stone cold in Game 3 and pushing it to Game 7 is one of the greatest things I've ever seen an Oilers goalie do. Derek Roy, I'll put him on the list because they did not respect Derek Roy and they burned Dale Yakupov by letting Derek Roy leave because he was the only Oiler they'd ever gotten along with, really. And I'll throw Reed Schaefer on there, Declan, because I don't appreciate him being traded for the greatest modern defenseman in Oilers history.
That's facts. Pandora's box. What could have been?
This one to me is tough because it's going to vary person to person. Like, well, he was appreciated. He wasn't. I don't know. Brett Kulak for me. I think we only give him some love on playoff Kulak times.
He's the answer.
He's solid. Mike Greer. I mean, I always liked Mike Greer. I thought he was a great player for the Oilers. Popped his shoulder out, popped it back in.
He was given the A. You don't think he got his due?
Yeah, I don't know. Long term, when we talk about the greats, he'll never come up. But that's probably because of the team success, which takes me to Charlie Huddy. And I know he's in the Oilers Hall of Fame. But I mean, whenever we talk about these great dynasty teams, we're talking about the flash and dash, but we're not talking about the heart and the grit of Charlie Huddy.
Interesting.
These could all be just terrible. Let me know. And Darnell Nurse.
Oh my goodness.
Underappreciated, overcriticized Darnell Nurse.
Overpaid.
Perhaps.
Army Daryl's going to have your head.
I'm going for the wow factor with this one. Declan, what do you got?
So my favorite Oiler of all time, Darcy Hordachuk. First name on the list.
Wow, very appreciated.
Of course it is, Declan.
Eric Belanger. I would have Brett Kulak on there as well. I think that's a good shout. I think Brett Kulak is like the perfect 5th or 6th defenseman. And I'm going to say the big boy, double nickel, Igor Ulanov. Putting him number 4.
Love that guy.
Love Igor Ulanov. Pain threshold of a cadaver.
He would take a puck to the face.
No matter.
And it would be preseason. Doesn't matter. Like anyone would do it to win the cup. He would do it to win a preseason game. Mike B. Shy.
Oof.
Fighting the Thrashers from the bench. Epic moment.
You want to know a real admission here, Connor, on a Friday afternoon? I was at that Mike B. Shy game. I was getting a beer.
You missed it.
I missed it. I came back and people were like, they're going to be talking about what just happened while you were gone forever.
Yeah.
Missed it.
Delta Valley Jeff says, how did none of you select Hemsky? Arguably one of the top 10 skilled Oilers to ever play. I don't know. I appreciated him. He was like my GOAT for the longest time.
Yeah, like when I think of those Oilers teams, I think of Ales Hemsky.
That's
even before Schmitty, really. Maybe not before Schmitty, but like you think of him when you think of those teams.
I mean, he was an outstanding player. Little kids at my age, we wanted to be Hemsky. The dangles that he had, the skill.
And he had such a cool number, like 83.
Yeah, it just looked good.
Yeah, it looks sick.
If there was an Oiler to magically bring on to the 2024 roster because he earned it in the past, if that was a thing, it'd be Ales Hemsky for me.
Yeah, I'd probably take Wayne Gretzky.
Wow. You really are a brain, aren't you, Declan? Jeez.
No, I'd put Darcy Hordachuk on there, man. Let him get his ring.
Let Darcy get his ring.
Boys, it's Rem Murray for me from Morinville. Ooh. Greg Dallas, the farmer, says guy was absolute garbage in the playoffs. I give Broberg even more credit since he's stuck with Nurse and had to carry that D. Delta Valley Jeff, Hemsky feeding Dry. Imagine that. It could go both ways. Dry feeding Hemsky. He never had much around him, like in terms of
nothing, man. Nothing is skill, and nobody defending him. We basically just threw him over the boards. We're like, good luck, Alish.
Here's Horkoff and Ryan Smith. Maybe go. Or
maybe.
Did he have?
He played with everybody.
Did he play with Comrie for a bit?
Yes. If you look at whom Ales Hemsky played with, the answer is everybody.
How can anyone appreciate Eric Belanger? Willie Lindstrom for me. Bronco Nick. Kevin McClellan from Vaughan. We had him on the show. Great dude. Stan the Man says Horkov. We've got Peter Klima from Army Daryl. Glad he stuck around. Mike Bishai from Mike. Oh, that'd be so cool if that was Mike Bishai. Ryan says, going back to the Bruce Garriott report about CC and Kulak being traded, I really doubt teams are asking for high picks for CC or Kulak, both legit NHL D-men at fair contracts. Brian, I'm with you. When that made the TSN front page, I was being so sarcastic and sassy, like, oh, good insider information. Yeah, who else would they trade? Obviously, it's going to be Kulak or CC. We've been saying it all week. Why didn't I get the front page of TSN? Halley, I think it could be CC or Kulak.
Deserve it.
It's that bias.
Eastern bias.
Exactly. And listen out west. We've all been saying it. Could be Wanye Gretz. Hey, could be CC or Kulak. Spector. Hey, could be CC or Kulak. Lowtide, Kruger, Paulson,
Halley,
Perry, Shan the Man, Army Darrell. We've all said it. Now he's getting the credit for it. Rattled. Nathan Walker. Colby Gord. Connor is brave, saying nurse's positive manner. You're asking for your car to be egged. Hey, I'm in the glass house here at the Ewell Studios.
Yeah.
Come talk to me.
Got children under 10, 6 deep, staring at us like we're flamingos.
Yeah. Not right now, Declan, but
don't worry, Declan.
They were earlier.
Well, they were there.
Wanye, you're on wave patrol. You got to give me
I
a wave.
waved. Like a young Queen Elizabeth. I waved.
That's 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Great work, Declan. You're absolutely crushing it. Still to come on the show, Low Tide, Spec. And that's a final hour. And maybe Wanye's World?
There's time.
If there's time, we'll squeeze it on in there. But right now, we're going to a break brought to you by, well, not the break. The break's brought to you by all the commercials that play. But
Fair.
the Sports 1440 update that leads into the break is brought to you by Booster Juice. Try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball. The yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today only at Booster Juice.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
And for your sports 1440 update. Postmedia's Bruce Garriak reporting that the Edmonton Oilers are in fact exploring the possibility of moving defenseman Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak, helping to clear up cap space to match the offer sheets of Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. CFL action tonight in week 11. Montreal in Saskatchewan taking on the Rough Riders. Trevor Harris returning as the Rough Riders quarterback for this one. AJ Ouellette also going to be joining the team in this one. And Cody Fajardo will be dressed as the backup for the Montreal Alouettes. McLeod Bethel Thompson is set to start at quarterback for the Edmonton Elks as they take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats tomorrow at 5 p.m. out in Hamilton. MLB scores from around the league. One final from earlier was the Cubs over the Jays 6-5 in extra innings. Right now, it's the Yankees up 1-0 on the Tigers in the top of the second. Royals and Reds, that one delayed because of rain in the top of the first. Mariners and Pirates, Nationals and Phillies both tied at 0-0 early in those games. And the Diamondbacks lead the Rays 2-0 in the bottom of the first. News out of the NFL world as Bengals tackle Dante Smith has injured his patella tendon. No timeline on the return yet. Bo Nix set to get more reps with the starters, according to head coach Sean Payton, as they take on Green Bay in preseason action. And Colin Kaepernick will not be joining Jim Harbaugh and his coaching staff this year, despite an earlier report that he would like to have him on the team. WNBA action, it all gets going in about 27 minutes time. Here's the Seattle Storm take on the Atlanta Dream, and the Phoenix Mercury take on the Indiana Fever. The late game in the WNBA will see the Connecticut Sun and the Dallas Wings. One Premier League score from earlier today, it was Man U over Fulham 1-0. It was Joshua Zirkzee scoring the late goal in the 87th minute to give Man United the 3 points to open up the Prem season. In hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Low Tide from the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is the Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your good vibes
Just after
and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
It's the Brick Summer Sleep Event. There's never been a better time
Yeah.
to save big on bedroom items, like up to 50% off select
Yeah.
mattresses
Yeah.
and up to 40% off select pillows, so you can get a great night's sleep without breaking the bank. And take up to $300 off select major kitchen appliances. Plus, from Friday to Monday only, buy mattresses starting at just $149 and fabric beds starting at just $199. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Imagine hitting 13 out of 14 fairways from the tee. It can happen. It does happen with a driver created for you by Fitted Golf. We are the only company in Edmonton who fits for all 9 features of each golf club. Amateurs learn to play like amateurs from amateurs. Come work with our professional team of scientists, engineers, and club builders and get fitted with the clubs designed for one golfer. You visit fittedgolf.ca today. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV. Anything that's exposed to the elements or has moving parts needs regular maintenance. And when you consider an RV, well, it falls into both categories. Lots of moving parts and sitting out all the time, which is why we hire the best RV technicians in Alberta to come work here at our new, bigger store in Leduc.
Noble has giant indoor service space that can hold the biggest RVs in the world.
That's right, Bob. The vast majority of our indoor space at Noble is dedicated to service and repair. You spend the summer in the great outdoors, and we spend the winter doing scheduled maintenance, so you're ready to go next season.
Sounds like a year-round thing, Rick.
That's it exactly, Bob. Our techs are the most highly experienced men and women in the business. We're solving problems and creating solutions every day. Whatever your used RV needs, our service team has seen it before and knows exactly what to do.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We're back here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code SUMMER and get a free $50 casino play with a minimum $5 deposit. And tonight it is Lotto Max 70 mil. Go get your ticket. Also, NFL preseason. You got some CFL, Major League Baseball. Lots of fun to be had. Play Alberta. Make sure to use your game sense. We're coming to you live from the eWell studio. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson. Big army putting this show on here. You can watch, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere, Wanye.
Everywhere.
Everywhere you want to be, we're there.
AM. Check. The internet. Check. Mobile phones. Check.
Smart speakers.
Check.
Cars. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
A lot of good feedback from Declan's 5 questions, the Mount Rushmore of unsung Oilers. And maybe we'll ask our next guest, because not too many people have covered the Oilers as long as him and seen all the unsung heroes. It's a Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They specialize in underground infrastructure. They make your life more enjoyable with running water and indoor plumbing. They are the grinders on construction. GS Construction. They're also hiring. You can go to Indy.com and look it up. GS Construction. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. Happy Friday. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, boys. What's going on in the shop there?
Well, we're just getting through it. Looking forward to the weekend. Should be a lot of fun. The Elks and the Ticats meeting tomorrow. I don't know if you heard us talking about their underappreciated Oilers. We've got some good ones coming in. Rem Murray, Sean Horkov, even Mike Bishai, Darcy Hordachuk. When you look back at your time covering this team, and even further if you want, who are some underrated members of the Oilers?
Well, I think if you're going to start at the start, probably the first unsung Oiler would have been Lee Fogelin. I know he wore the C for a while. The team wasn't very good back then, and he was the guy that taught all the young, superstars what it was about. How tough was Lee Fogelin, you ask, Wanye? He was so tough that one day on a game day, he was in his hotel room and he had to get a filling out, and he didn't want to go see the dentist. So he took off a curtain hook and he took the filling out all by himself. So that's an unsung hero right there, baby.
It's tough as nails.
That's one of my favorite old Oilers stories right there.
He was he in the first Oiler group inducted onto the Ring of Fame or Ring of Honor or what they call?
I don't know. Did they put his name up there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget. Did they? I think they did, right?
Yeah, he's on there. I believe he was in the first entry class, which kind of shows you the respect he gets among his peers.
And he should be. Like Al Hamilton is on the top, has his number retired as an original WHA captain. And I believe when they came in the league, Fogie was their captain. Certainly he was the guy that turned the captaincy over to Wayne Gretzky. So anyone who watched hockey back then, like he was a shot blocker, he was a hard hitter, he was a stay-at-home guy, he was all these flashy kids all around him, and he was kind of the glue that held this thing together. So I would go there. I would go forward to guys like I don't know, was Igor Ulanov here long enough to be one of those guys?
He was brought up absolutely by Declan Kruger.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I liked old Igor Ulanov. He was a pretty tough old cat. Who else? Like in the years when they were winning Stanley Cups, right? Who would be the unsung hero of those teams, do you think? Like, there's so many great players.
Huddy or Randy Gregg, guys that maybe didn't get the shine for the offensive play?
Randy Gregg is one for sure. Craig Muni and Chuck Huddy are a couple guys for sure, right? Chuck Huddy only played next to the greatest defenseman in the game and kept the sheet clean while Paul Coffey roved all over the ice. So he would certainly be one. I like that. And then, I don't know, then it's hard to how unsung heroes on bad teams. Like they had a lot of bad teams, and I don't know if we pull guys off of there or not. You kind of need a better team to be an unsung hero on it, don't you?
One of the names spec was brought up at first we kind of laughed at, then we thought about it, was Hemsky. Because although he was sort of given his due, he was underrated in that he didn't really have much of a team around him most nights, and he was being thrown over the boards. Would you include him in that list?
No, because he wasn't unsung. He was one of their best players, and we all knew it. Maybe around the league, people didn't realize how good Hemmer was, but I think here in Edmonton, we were all pretty clear that he was a good player. You're right. He was on a team that there wasn't a lot to work with, except for in the year they went to the Cup. So unsung hero. I'm trying to think of an unsung hero from like the last. I always think of players who don't get many points, like the Luke Richardsons of the world and the Fogelins and maybe a guy like I don't know. I'm thinking of if Vincent Desharnais would have hung around a while longer, he would have been one of those guys. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And you were talking the Hall of Fame there. It was Fogelin and Smith were the first two, followed by Doug Waite, Charlie Huddy, and now we got Randy Gregg and Craig McTavish.
I had UC Markkinen on my list, Spec, just because in 06 when he came in Game 3, stone cold, and willed himself into the Cup Finals. I'll never, ever, ever underappreciate the juice for his performance in 06.
Okay, what about Kelly Buchberger? Was he not an unsung hero in this town?
That's a fair one. Even though with a C, he was a hard-working dude.
Yeah.
Now, Spec, how about if we're going into the 2024-2025 version of the Edmonton Oilers? They brought in some free agents. They've got the depth there. Who do you think has potential to be an unsung hero for this team going forward?
Well, I think in the playoffs last year, it was certainly a guy like Matthias Janmark, right? He was a very good, useful player, killed all those, a huge part of that penalty kill, scored a couple of big goals in important games. So that's among the forward group, that's the first guy that jumps to mind. I want to throw out Cody Ceci a little love here. He takes nothing but abuse from the fan base out there. And in the playoffs, he was playing a ton, especially as we got into round 3 and round 4, and playing awfully well and keeping pucks out of their net and swallowing shots and, not getting a lot of points, but quietly getting the job done. So I would throw Ceci into that group, wouldn't you?
I like Cody Ceci. We were talking about it earlier. Like, I can understand why he's an easy guy to get on if you're so inclined, but especially like you said, as the playoffs wore on, he was eating up minutes like crazy. Mr. Game 7 too, like key contributions at key times.
Well, you know what? I've had this argument on this radio station. The analytics community has really figured out how to quantify a million things in hockey, and we're way smarter with the arrival. No one's saying we're not. Every team depends on them. Don't say I'm dissing analytics, but where they have still room to go here is for guys who don't do anything offensively. Guys like Cody Ceci get the bad end of the analytics measuring stick because they don't get to play very often with the guys who score all the goals. They get the D zone starts, right? They're always going to be guys who probably are on for more goals against. Forget guys like Chris Russell and the shot blockers. So Cody Ceci gets disliked because the statistics tell a lot of blind followers to dislike him, right? A lot of people who don't look at those numbers don't dislike Cody Ceci, and I have a feeling we're never going to solve that, guys. But I'm going to say to you that if they had analytics in 1980, those same fans' fathers would have hated Lee Fogelin too.
Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show as the Spec Report. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you here, sitting in for the vacationing Jason. So, Spec, we're 3 days away, 4 days away from the Tuesday deadline when the decision must be made about the offer sheet for Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. We've heard some conversations. Bruce Garriock saying the team could be looking at potentially trading away Cody Ceci or Brett Kulak to create some space. So we'll have to see how it pans out. If you were to throw it out there, I guess, do you think they're far along in the process of deciding what they're going to do and maybe have an idea of what the final plan will be with these two players?
I think they are. I think, I'm sure that they'll come out of the weekend and wake up Monday morning and have their decision made. I've found even in between my own ears, guys, and even the people I'm seeing online, the longer you think about it, the more you kind of change your thinking process, the more you learn, right? I wrote a piece today and I talked to some people inside the organization. And it's really a case of, they've identified that obviously the different ways they can go. Either you sign both, let both go, or keep one or the other. And they've really done deep dives on what each one of those paths means down the road. Now, they're not looking at video of Broberg and Holloway. They know how they play. They know what they are as players. They, are as much as they're going to know. It's not about watching, old video to see how good they are. It's about the ramifications with your cap, with your team. If, depending on which road you go down, every road has unique consequences, right? And I'm starting to lean towards thinking that they'll probably keep Holloway, and I have a feeling that the consequences of keeping Broberg at that number are going to be too steep. I sense that might not happen. I'm not telling you I'm for sure, But if I had to pick one way right now, I would say Broberg goes and Holloway stays. As much as you hate to leave the young defenseman out of this thing, I just don't think they could afford a suddenly $4.6 million guy here. I don't think they can do it.
Do you think the prospect of having to sign Evan Bouchard in a year kind of weighs into that, where you need money because $4.5 million, like that's quite the hit on your cap?
Well, not just Evan Bouchard. Guys, you remember, every NHL team plans 2, 3, 4 years out on their cap.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no team in hockey that's got three bigger stars to sign than the Edmonton Oilers in the next 2 seasons. You got Bouchard and Draisaitl and then McDavid. So this is part of the reason why the move by St. Louis is so tough here. Like if Broberg, all those 3 players are better than Broberg and more valuable than Broberg, and you want them now more than Broberg, and you want them in 5 years more than Broberg, right? He is in 4th place in every category with those guys. So if keeping Broberg hinders in any way you keeping Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, or Connor McDavid, then you don't keep them. And I think that's where my head's going here. I think it just gets too hard.
We were talking about this situation earlier on in the show, Spec. I want to get your thoughts on it. I mean, this offseason, Jeff Jackson had done quite a bit, obviously, free agency. Maybe had these 2 guys waiting on the priority list, but at the same time was searching for a general manager. Is there any chance that Jackson maybe was waiting to let the general manager handle this situation with these 2 players?
I don't think so. I think, it's funny because I haven't heard anyone say, hey, that Jeff Jackson's such a genius. Why is he even hiring a general manager lately? The way we were saying a month ago.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that people have this backwards. I think everyone's blaming the Edmonton Oilers for not signing these 2 guys earlier. And I'm going to say to you, those 2 guys are in the Broberg's in the minors all year last year. He's not signing a contract while he's sitting in the minors, okay? If I'm his agent, there's no chance I sign a contract while I'm in the minors. Then when the season ends and I have 2 awesome rounds at the end of the year, when the season ends, I'm here to tell you that agent already has probably found out there might be something cooking for his guy, and now he's not signing any contract. And I'm saying the same about Holloway. Holloway's agent isn't signing when he's 3/4 of the way through last season. He went down to the minors. He's coming back. He hasn't got much done. People say, why didn't they sign him? Because the agents aren't stupid. That's why they didn't sign him, right? The agents aren't signing from a position of weakness. And I think we're watching here a movie about why you don't sign from a position of weakness, because you have a couple good playoff rounds. All of a sudden, something good might happen. And those 2 guys are very happy they didn't sign contracts with the Oilers 6 months ago.
Mark Spector joining us here. One last one before we let you go. 24 hours. We'll be midway into the first quarter out in Hamilton. Elks and Ticats straightforward. Not going to be in the game for this one, nursing the injury. McLeod Bethel Thompson gets the start. Expectations for you in this one, Spec. 2-7 teams meeting in Hamilton. Both teams need a win.
Yeah, it's time for Edmonton to beat Edmonton just beat 2 good teams, and there's no reason you can't beat Hamilton. I think Hamilton's going with a fresh new quarterback too, is my understanding. Bethel Thompson's a veteran. He's coming off a good game. I expect him to play well. And, listen, Bethel Thompson's supposed to be a starter here. He came here as a number 1. He started the season as a number 1 and frankly didn't go very well. But I think it's time for him to pick his game up and win a game for his team. He needs to play like a CFL number 1 quarterback that he's supposed to be. And if he does, they can beat Hamilton. They got defense. They got a running game. They got a nice crop of receivers here. If Bethel Thompson can handle the controls, I don't see why he can't. They should win the football game. Plain and simple.
All right, Spec. We'll have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, boys. Have a great weekend, everybody.
See you, Spec.
That is Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. Got to go check out that article on Sportsnet. No paywall there.
Nothing.
You just get in.
Get in there.
Go take a look. Mark Spector joined us, of course, every day here on the Jason Gregor Show just after 5 o'clock. Chris texting in 1-833-401-1440. I would creep Broberg and probably move Ekholm next offseason before the Dry and Bouchard contract extensions kick in. Is Ekholm a free agent after next year?
I hope not.
I'm going to go check that one out. Anywho, we'll take a break. When we come back, maybe we'll talk some more Oilers with Alan Mitchell, the host of the Lowdown with Lowtide, and writes at The Athletic, where there is a paywall. You do have to pay for Lowtide's work, except if you go to lowtide.ca, I believe. There's always a way around it. Keep the text coming in here. 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Bacon or sausage and Egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries.
Every generation before you has also been the most progressive generation.
And Jimmy Carr.
I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm not that small, I'm just far away.
One night, two comedy icons. September 8th, Rogers Place. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.ca. The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries and Jimmy Carr. Produced by Outback Presents.
At Toyota, we understand life's full of winning moments, like winning shotgun in an epic game of rock, paper, scissors. Boom, paper covers rock, Carl. And we design our award-winning vehicles with your needs in mind, giving you a front row seat to all life's victories. Except you, Carl. You're in the back. It's time for everyday wins. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 double cab SR5 from $159 weekly for 60 months at 5.99% with $6,599 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
People living with Parkinson's disease are unshakable, and every year we celebrate them. On Saturday, September 7th, join Parkinson Association of Alberta at Rundle Park for our 12th annual Step and Stride Walk for Parkinson's. Visit parkinsonassociation.ca and support those affected by Parkinson's disease and Parkinson Plus syndromes. Come together with family and friends and raise much-needed funds. Your donation provides support, education, and programs that improve quality of life. Learn more, register a team, and donate today at parkinsonassociation.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Get your power play amped up with eWell, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. eWell.ca is your partner in power.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We're back on the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Positive Friday. Thank you for tuning into the show today. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you, coming to you live from the UL studios here in West Edmonton Mall. We've also got the UL inbox open, 1-833-401-1440. Get those texts in throughout the entirety of the show. Right now, let's get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Midsummer event is on now. You can lease a new Volvo 2024 XC90 for 0% at Canada's #1 dealership, Volvo dealership, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. We bring in Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown with Low Tide, every day here on Sports 1440 from noon to 2. Sans weekends, but that's only because we tell him not to come in on weekends. Al, how are you doing today?
I'm well. I thank you for telling me not to come in on the weekends. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we have to deactivate the key card just to be safe, because we know you love what you do.
I actually really do. But I like my Saturday. I sleep in and I wear my Winnie the Pooh pajamas till like 2 p.m. on Saturdays. So I don't know if you're ready for that.
Well, I've recently learned something new about Winnie the Pooh and that entire cartoon that has me questioning a lot of things, but that's for another day. My question for you, Al, and this was Declan's question actually. If there was a Mount Rushmore of underappreciated Edmonton Oilers in history, who would be your top 4?
Okay. Charlie Huddy would be, even though he was on several Stanley Cup winners, he wasn't drafted, and he was a key player to those great teams. So I would put him on on that list. I would also put I mean, Fernando Pisani got lots of credit and things, but he was, before he scored that shorthanded goal in Game 5, he was really underrated. He was a mentor to a lot of guys like Jarrett Stoll and Rafi Torres and others, and Zach Sortini. And so I would include him on that. I think Fernando Pisani was a really big part of that team. I'm going to catch hell from Declan for this, but I'm going to put Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on it. He has played his entire career in the shadow of somebody, from Taylor Hall to now Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. It's just on and on and on and on. But he's a brilliant player. So I will put Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on that list. And the other one I'm going to put on, and it's another guy who was, pretty famous, but he was drafted in the first round. He played extremely well. When he was here, I regarded him as a brilliant complementary player. But as he went on to other teams, it was pretty clear that he, more than most wingers, sort of pushed results, and that's Jordan Eberle. So those would be my 4. And I know they're a little too famous for truly underrated, but those are the ones that popped into my head.
You literally had Wanye dancing in the studio when you dropped Eberle.
Thank you, Low Tide. Thank you for your praise.
Well, I even though I loved him when he was here, I don't think I truly appreciated him until he was gone. Because if you look at his scoring over many years, he was highly consistent. He played with differing levels of talent teams, but he was always he always helped his team. He was always better than the rest of the roster, and that's hard to do if you're a winger. But he was able to do it.
My favorite Eberle story. I don't know if I should. Well, it's not that bad. It was Struddy and I were doing a post game show together, and he didn't have a very good game, and he was like, "Connor, you got to go after him. You got to call him out." And I said, "Well, Struddy, why don't you do it?" And he said, "Well, he and his wife are giving my wife a ride home, so I don't want to say anything bad about it. So you got to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that either. I don't want to be the bad guy in that car."
I love it. I'm still convinced they traded him because I think it was Letestu. Eberle got the puck to Letestu, but it jumped over his stick, and then it didn't get out over the line. And in the 2017 playoffs, the puck ended up in the net, and Eberle got that blame for it. But it was a fluke play. If you go back and look at it, the puck just simply jumped over Letestu's stick. It was a fluke play. Everybody was mad as hell. And then that summer they traded him, which was really unfortunate because he was a very fine player.
I shake my head at trading Jordan Eberle then and now. I really don't think it was necessary.
It wasn't. It was, the Oilers had so much talent. I think they, sometimes when you have so much available in terms of quality, you don't realize how rare it is to have that kind of quality. And I think the Oilers were there after 2017. I don't understand why they traded Hall and brought in Lucic. I don't understand why they traded Jordan Eberle and turned him into Ryan Strome, who then turned into Ryan Spooner. It's mind-boggling that all of these things happen by, with people in charge who were hockey people. And Oiler fans deserve better. They really did.
You got us all nodding in the studio at 5:33 on a Friday, LT, where everyone's in your corner here.
Well, it's still maddening. Honest to Christ, it is. I'm sorry, but it's maddening.
I mean, I'm just thinking of those teams in like the early 90s, 93, 94 that I grew up watching. So, hey, I wish there was a Taylor Hall and a Jordan Eberle on those teams back in the day, because I don't even remember Shane Corson, David Oliver.
I got one for you back then too. They traded Miro Shatan for Barry Miller and some other guy, and then Shatan scored like 400 goals in Buffalo.
He was the leading scorer at the time when they traded him that season.
I know. What the hell is going on?
Are we ever going to get to the bottom of this, LT? Like what? Miro Shatan, get back in here.
We have to dig up Robert Stack and find out all these unsolved mysteries, where they went.
What's next? Trading McDavid?
What?
Couldn't.
Connor.
Darcy actually had Miro Shatan as one of his underrated Oilers.
There you go.
LT, where would you put Horkoff on that list? Because someone brought him up earlier, and I always liked Sean Horkoff, and he had a weird career arc. He got hurt at the All-Star game right after signing a big contract, and the Oilers sort of faded after that, and he took a lot of abuse for it. But would you think that Sean Horkoff was underappreciated as a time in Oiler?
I do. The reason I didn't have him as an underrated was because he got that big contract. But my recollection of what happened to Horkoff was that he had reached, he came up a little later. He was 23, something like that. And by the time Nuge was a rookie and the year before, so that went in 2010, 11, it was time for Sam Gagner to be the top center. But Sam Gagner wasn't really a great center to play against, Andrei Kopitar and all those brute humans that played in the Pacific Division, Getzlaff and others. So what happened was Horkoff got all of the bad situations. He had a fierce own zone, face-offs. He had was something like 60% of his face-offs were in his own zone. He didn't get the top offensive line mates. They took Hemsky away from him. And he he stopped scoring. Then there was one year his plus-minus was terrible, but he was on the ice for 11 empty net goals or some damn thing. It was, they're saying Horkoff's popularity went down after the contract, but there was a cascade of things that just occurred that I kept yelling about it, but nobody would listen to me.
We were listening.
Well, I loved Horkoff. I've always thought he was a brilliant, hockey player. He was my favorite type, a two-way type player with a little more offensive ability than McTavish, who was another favorite of mine. So I will defend Horkoff to the ends of the earth, but I think I've sort of yelled myself out about that. I think I lost the battle.
Well, and Horkoff at the time too, the Oilers as an organization had not been able to afford to keep very many of its own. And Horkoff's contract came due, and being able to give him that deal, I remember at the time it was like a sign to Oilers present and future that the team was now able to afford their players. It just so happened that Sean Horkoff was the next contract due.
Yeah. And then he suffered through, right after that, he suffered through some really tough times, and he was wildly unpopular. And I do remember that Mac T, when he was GM, he basically said, we're just gonna let him go, let him go have fun playing hockey again. It was too bad, because I think Horkoff was underappreciated for sure in those years. In as you recall, in 06, the dying seconds of that series against Detroit, he blocked a shot with his face, and that's how much he, contributed to that 06 run. He was a hell of a hockey player, and he did. All of them did that year. That was one of my favorite teams the Oilers have ever put together. They were just absolute murder.
Maybe looking ahead to underappreciated Oilers of tomorrow. If you're in charge, LT, and maybe one day you will be, what would you do with Sam Gagner?
Oh, well, I think he's really smart. Number one, I remember I had a conversation before they drafted him with my friend Louise, who I don't know how she got access to all the OHL, how smart the kids were, but she was rambling on about how bright he was, like in terms of schooling, but in terms of his ability to, process things. And I think we saw that. He was, Gagner wasn't a big guy, and he wasn't a fast guy, but he was a smart player. And I think that, I'd like to see him in some kind of role where, and I don't know if it's coaching or management. I don't know what side he'd be most interested in, but I think that's a pretty good brain there that you could take advantage of. And, he bleeds, copper and orange and blue, just like Oilers fans do. So I think there's a match there for sure.
What do you do with him in the short term? I mean, he's indicated he wants to play another year at least. He'd mentioned on this offseason. Do you try to bring him back in a PTO and see what he's got, or do you say, call us in a year? What would you be your play?
Well, I think that what I would do is I'd bring him in on a PTO, only because they've got signed guys who are, Corey Perry, Derek Ryan, those are right wingers who they could get hurt in training camp, right? Or the captain's skate or whatever. So I all hands on deck. I don't know how much he would play in front of a guy like Matthew Savoy in Bakersfield. So as long as it's not getting in the way of the young prospects who have to play. But if he really wants to do that, to go to Bakersfield and maybe have another try at it, God love him for it. I don't know why the Oilers would say no. There's no reason to keep him from doing that. And he has great hands. I mean, the one thing about Gagner in his time back with Edmonton is he's the guy who can construct offense or create offense on a third and fourth line without any help from Draisaitl or McDavid. He actually is able to generate some offense simply because he's such a good passer.
LT, I had so many questions for you about the Elks and the Eagles, but there's no time. So we'll have to do it next week, perhaps.
Okay, Elks will win this weekend. Eagles aren't going very far. And that's as quick as I can do it.
Jeez, you answered my questions. What a pro. Thanks, Al.
All right, have a good weekend, boys.
You too. That is Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown Flow Tide, which you can hear on Sports 1440 Monday through Friday from noon to 2, as well as The Athletic, which you can pay a small fee to read his words. Or you go to lowtide.ca. Great website. Did you know that it is the annual gathering of the Juggalos?
Well, yes, Connor. I have to leave in 15 minutes. I have a direct flight.
Tomorrow's the last day.
The gathering of the Juggalos ends on a Saturday?
Yeah, it started on the 14th.
Holy moly.
Legend Valley, Ohio has a lot going on. They're lucky they got in.
It's Coachella for different tattoos.
Could you imagine going to that?
You know who likes going to the Juggalo gathering? And I'm not even kidding, is Vanilla Ice. He's been going since the beginning, and they love him.
You know he races powerboats.
He was the number one powerboat jet racer in the world at one point.
Man,
Vanilla Ice is no joke. It's a story for a different day, but let me just let you know that he is no joke.
I would just love to go to the gathering of the Juggalos once in my life. See what it's all about.
Get a face tattoo?
Well, it's paint, isn't it?
Well, you could get the tattoo version if you're real boss.
I'm not. I would just be a poser. Look at that Lucy
in your Chargers gear.
With his Chargers gear and a painted face. You can tell he's a poser. We won't discuss that anymore. I just saw that pop up on Twitter and kind of blew my mind. You know what I was talking about, though.
I know what a Juggalo gathering is.
You know what it is. 1-833-401-1440. Keep the text rolling in here. Underrated Oilers of all time. Mike Krushelinski, 40 goal scorer. Peter Klima, 40 goal scorer. Craig Simpson, 50 goal scorer. Esa Tikkanen, not talked about enough as well. Those are some good ones right there. And then Craig and Red Deer says, hey guys, I'd say even Cogliano and Chimera underappreciated. Traded for nothing and both went on to have long, productive careers. Craig in RD. Yeah, I think Cogliano was also kind of part of when the trade happened, he accepted a different role and thrived in it. Amazing NHL career. Now working in the front office. But I don't know if that would have happened in Edmonton.
Don't call him a beast, though, Connor, because the text line won't have it.
He's no beast.
Just modern day Iron Man. How unbeastly.
Who else were we just talking about? Slips my mind. Broke his cup.
Oh, Hendricks.
Matt Hendricks.
Ow, right in the kisser.
Score the old breakaway goal. The big leg kick. Underrated. Alex Selivanov from Lawrence.
Wow. Son-in-law of. Do you know why they called him that?
No.
Because he was married to Terry Crisp's daughter, and she was the GM of the Bolts. He was the GM of the Bolts. They called him son-in-law.
Tommy Salo still holds Oilers records. And final one. We talked about Matthias Ekholm with Chris's text earlier. Yes, he has this season and then one more season. So he's under contract for 2 more years with the Oil. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap it all up, put a bow on it, and let you know what's coming up next. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rule number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The summer road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers. Or save $7,000 on all new 2024 XC60 recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide this summer will become, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
It's the Brick Summer Sleep Event. There's never been a better time to save big on bedroom items. Like up to 50% off select mattresses, and up to 40% off select pillows. So you can get a great night's sleep without breaking the bank. And take up to $300 off select major kitchen appliances. Plus, from Friday to Monday only, find mattresses starting at just $149 and fabric beds starting at just $199. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Anything that's exposed to the elements or has moving parts needs regular maintenance. And when you consider an RV, well, it falls into both categories. Lots of moving parts and sitting out all the time, which is why we hire the best RV technicians in Alberta to come work here at our new, bigger store in Leduc.
Noble has giant indoor service space that can hold the biggest RVs in the world.
That's right, Bob. The vast majority of our indoor space at No Bull is dedicated to service and repair. You spend the summer in the great outdoors, and we spend the winter doing scheduled maintenance, so you're ready to go next season.
Sounds like a year-round thing, Rick.
That's it exactly, Bob. Our techs are the most highly experienced men and women in the business. We're solving problems and creating solutions every day. Whatever your used RV needs, our service team has seen it before and knows exactly what to do.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero-gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you. Sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We're back. It is the final segment of the week here on the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You still got a little bit of time to go grab that Lotto Max ticket, 70 schmil. Lotto Max, there's a lot going on as well. I also want to say sports-wise, WNBA, we're trying to find the fever game on tonight. You got Elks, NFL preseason, Major League Baseball, English Premier League, go Reds. Man, this is a good time in the sporting world. I say that probably bi-monthly. Like, this is the best time in the sporting world. 1-833-401-1440. It's the eWell inboxes. We're also coming to you live from the eWell studios here in West Edmonton Mall. The real power place to shop at ewell.ca for all your electrical needs online 24/7. ewell.ca. A few more coming in here. Soggy Corp says, Doug, wait, dude was a force, deserved a better team around him with an amazing work ethic. Probably not underrated, but a legendary figure. Fernando Pistani in the playoffs. Dude was like Gandalf the White, showed up when it mattered. Soggy Corpse. Plant says, I stand by Tommy Salo, deserving to be in the Ring of Honor.
He was a good Oiler. It just depends where you draw the line for the Ring of Honor. If it's going to go all the way around the rink, yes.
I would have liked to see like a little Oilers Hall of Fame room where people, you go in, you can walk around, make it cool. I just don't know when Tommy Salo gets in. If that's, the all-time, like, who goes in next? Hemsky's got to get in there.
It's a good question. Who goes in there? Didn't Hemsky get inducted already?
Well, I thought it was Smith and Fogelin.
Right.
Waite and Huddy, and then it's McTavish and Randy Gregg. Dr. Randy Gregg.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it's like, what, 2 a year?
I would put Hemsky in the next class then, yes. Bill Ranford?
Guy got a Conn Smythe, led them to a Stanley Cup.
I mean, if you're basing it on hardware, he's got to be... I think he won a Vezina too, didn't he, that year?
Not positive.
That's incredible work.
Tommy Salo is third on the Oilers in all-time wins, behind Grant Fuhr and Bill Ranford.
I used to love Bill Ranford, Connor. I drew a picture of him and had a friend of mine who was going to his goalie camp bring it to him, and he signed it. He said, your friend, Bill Ranford. And I said, that's all I need to know. Time to start being an Oilers fan.
I have a Bill Ranford autographed hockey card. It was given to me in a very weird trade, but I was like 7 years old, locked it down. His little kick save that he would make.
And flip the puck onto the top of his glove.
Yeah.
He also wore 2 cups his entire career. A player one inside a goalie one due to an incident.
Maybe more guys should do that. I mean, really thinking about it, I can only think of one bad incident. Matt Hendricks.
One of the things that I know in my brain that's shocking, Connor, is 2 things. One, there's apparently a handful of players who still smoke at intermission in the NHL.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a handful of players who do not wear athletic cups while playing. Connor, can you believe this? They're cup free in games at their own discretion.
It's such a risk too. Like the Death Star. There's that little spot if it catches you.
If you took a wrist shot to the general groin region without a cup, it's over.
In football, they don't. There's some bad incidents. Things get pinched. You don't want that.
A pinching.
Yeah.
But there isn't a puck flying around.
But it's not a puck flying.
Getting tipped every which way.
There are lots of stories of, what happens under the pile.
No.
Things are grabbed. Yeah. Other things can be punched.
If I was an NFL player in a pile and someone grabbed my you-know-what, I'd say, no, thank you, sir. And I would leave the game immediately and say, not for me.
When playing the Raiders, LaDainian Tomlinson had cracked ribs from someone punching him in the pile. So, yeah, what happens under the pile?
Stays under the pile?
Stays under the pile, except that people are told about it. Scalding Gord says, Sir Connor, are you going anywhere for the Elks game tomorrow? Yes, I'll be at Castlewood Pub. I don't know the exact coordinates for the pub, but you can Google it. It's a good little spot. We were there last year, had a really good time. The watch party, the official watch party, the Edmonton Elks. I host them all. You can just search Elks watch party, and
Is it
it'll
in
pop
Castle
up.
Downs?
I
Connor, you're there every week.
Not, but it changes locations.
Oh,
so yeah. I mean, I don't just blind.
You're
It's 146th and 50th Street.
Okay,
is that Castle Downs?
I think so. It's north.
It is north.
It all kind of wraps into like a infinity grid for me, that part of the city. I don't know where, what, and who starts where.
I think the community's name is Castleman, kind of by Miller. I'm a West End kid. I don't know these locations at all. Ebers? Anywho, good spot. We're going to have pizza specials, beer specials. The football game will be on. We got trivia at halftime. I'm the trivia master. And then we give away a bunch of stuff.
That's sweet.
Can get your picture taken with the cheer team.
They're there too?
Yeah. Well, 3 to 4 of them come out.
That's nice.
I think for the Labor Day game, we might have the band out actually. With the brass band. So
that's cool.
Yeah. If you want to come out to the watch party, Castlewood Pub, coordinates to be determined.
You've had a minute and a half to look that up, Connor.
146th and 50th Street.
That's the one.
I just had to go back and make sure.
That's the one.
I started looking at the menu and got distracted. It's been a long day. Everyone here is hungry. We all want to go stand in line at Chick-fil-A now.
And I will be at Bubba Gum Shrimp, just up the road, not watching sports, and you can't come hang out.
Almost fried chicken. Always good.
Always good.
Ranford did not win a Vezina, but he did starting job for Canada over Roy and Belfort. He's won 2 cups as a coach with the Kings and was the 90s as the man. And won the 90 as
Conn Smythe.
as the man. I believe he was the backup for Fear's last cup too, no? I'll have to go look. Mess with the Raider, you get the horns. That's what Lance says about Tommy Salo. Femke from First Round here says, hi, by the way, we miss you and love to hear you still in the air. Soggy Corpse. Oh, First Round. Shout out First Round.
Love having a beer first round.
Great spot. Great milkshakes too.
Is that so?
All the West, the Bourbon Street milkshakes. Unbelievable. Anywho, we got to wrap it up. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Wanye, thanks for coming in all week.
My pleasure.
Declan Donovan, you guys crushed it. It was a pleasure working with you. We're going to do it again next week, as well as Jason Gregor takes another week of vacation. Check the podcast if you missed anything. Fantastic show today. Coming up next, another edition of Turn Sports. But before that, we're going to head to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Rhoda Exclusive, an exclusive membership with luxury assets such as magnificent holiday properties, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, boats, and more. Travel, drive, and relax in style. Join now at RhodaExclusive.com. Limited openings.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And one last time from me today, your Sports 1440 update starting in the hockey world with news concerning the Edmonton Oilers, as the Oilers are exploring the possibility of moving defenseman Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak to help clear the cap space for tendered restricted free agents Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway, according to Post Media's Bruce Garrier. Trevor Harris is returning as the Rough Riders starting quarterback tonight. AJ Ouellette will also be in the lineup for the Rough Riders. Cody Fajardo will be the backup for Montreal in this one. Friday night football between the Owls and Riders gets going at 7 p.m. our time. McLeod Bethel-Thompson will start at quarterback for the Elks against the Hamilton Tiger Cats tomorrow as they take on the Ticats in Week 11 action out in Hamilton, a 5 p.m. kickoff for that one. MLB scores around the league. One final from earlier involving the Blue Jays. It was the Cubs over the Jays 6-5 in extras. Right now, it's the Mets over the Marlins 1-0. Red Sox over the Orioles 2-1. Diamondbacks over the Rays 2-0. Nats trailing the Phillies 2-0. Mariners up on the Pirates 2-1. Yankees over the Tigers, you guessed it, 2-0. And the Royals up on the Reds 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Late game today in the MLB will be the Braves and Angels out in LA. 7:38 p.m. first pitch in that one. WNBA action at the end of the first. It is the Seattle Storm leading the Atlanta Dream 22-18. And with 9:47 to go in the second, it's the Indiana Fever up on the Phoenix Mercury big 33-17. Caitlin Clark leading the way with 13 points. One other game in the WNBA, we'll see the Connecticut Sun in Dallas taking on the Wings. And for all you soccer fans out there, the English Premier League started today. Manchester United kicking off their season with a victory over Fulham 1-0 after Joshua Zirke's 87th minute goal. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Turn Sports is up next. Fox Sports Radio at 9. The Saturday Sports Setup tomorrow at 9 a.m. The Basketball Show with Paul Sir at 10 a.m. And Brandon Douglas and Kevin Karras resuming the action Monday morning, 7 a.m. here on Sports 1440. On behalf of Connor Halley and Wanye Gretz, I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
In Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC.